I mean, I have to get in the groove of just streaming, son. I gotta just stream. I don't necessarily be knowing like what I want to talk about for real. I know it's history based. It's just that I don't be knowing if y'all care about the stuff that I care about. Like I really be like nerding out over the simplest of stuff. So let me let people know that we in the building. You dig? Let's see. If you notice, my voice is a little hoarse. You dig? It was a long night. That's all. Wasn't nothing crazy. Nothing bad happened or nothing. But you know, had to go through it. You know what I mean? But let's see. Come talk to me, man. Come talk to me. I ain't gonna lie. So I'm gonna base this off of my mentions. Let's do that. Let's live stream from the mentions, right? So I have been. So we go to my Twitter. Go to my Twitter. I ain't gonna lie. People have been asking me if I have a reading list. Now, I talked about my digital library, right? I just talked about it. I got about 300, almost 300 books. Let's see. Let's go to my books app. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So if you can see here, I don't know if y'all can peep, but it says 257 PDFs. So, and yes, I'm not frauding. Okay, I actually do read these books. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I read these books cover to cover, but I do read these books. When I'm talking about the collection of books that I have, they're all relevant to the things that I'm researching at the time. You dig what I'm saying? So I just, if I'm in the mood to learn about, like, people ask me, like, where do you get your books from, or how do you get your books? It literally be the things that I'm interested in. Like, I legit be interested in, like, medicine, the medical practices of Black Americans during the 19th and early 20th century, or the fraternal orders that I read about, or entrepreneurs. That was one of the main things. That's really what got me into, like, the National Negro Business League and learning about all of these different entrepreneurs around the country and stuff like that. Like, there are so many, like, there's just so many different things about our history that you can learn from. So for me, it really be about, like, understanding what I enjoy today, understanding, like, what I respect or I'm interested in today, and just seeing how it was back then. So when it came down to the carpenters, right, or the artisanship, blacksmiths and shit like that, like, I see how these monuments or these buildings or these, whatever structures are built in 2025. And hey, what were they doing back then? Or when it came down to the fraternal orders, like, I see that there are the what is that called, Freemasons and stuff like that. And by the way, I'm not really a Freemason, son. I'm not. I know there's a couple people in my mentions that believe that I'm actually a Freemason and all of that. Nah, I just went to the White House or whatnot. But that's really where my research starts. My research starts with just me being interested, like, piquing my interest. Things of that nature piquing my interest. So if I want to learn about, artisans, or if I want to learn about, I got a whole historical Black American series. I'm not going to say what the series is about, but I have a whole series coming out that I ain't going to lie, like, you've seen the contemporary versions of it. Podcasts have gone, super viral talking about it and all of that, but this stuff was happening in the 18th, 19th, and early 20th century, but nobody talks about it. You dig what I'm saying? And the more and more I did all of this studying, son, the more and more I realized, like, people don't really be knowing about this stuff. One of the illest examples is Dr. S.D. Redman. Dr. S.D. Redman, let's look him up. I already made a video about him, so It shouldn't be hard. But Dr. S.D. Redman was really that guy, son. Like, he was really that guy. And it's crazy to me that he's as decorated as he is, but nobody knows about him, son. Like, nobody knows about Dr. S.D. Redman. So let's see. Cause on my phone it makes it easier to search on my profile. So is the chat up? I want to make sure that everybody can hear me and all that. Let's see. They in here. Let me turn this down. All right. So anyway, let's see. Dr. S.D. Redman. Redman. Is this on my page though? Because I know on the phone it says search profile. Taylor had asked me, you know, who was my biggest inspiration and who isn't talked about like that, right? So I told him, like, yo, it was, you know, my biggest inspiration is Booker T. Washington, obviously. Like, that's my triple, quadruple OG. But I also said Dr. S.D. Redman. And it's funny because they kind of favor each other. Like, S.D. Redman just looked like Booker T. Washington with glasses. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, like, this dude is honestly one of the most decorated Americans. Like I said, it's not even just like black Americans. Like, he is the most decorated American that I've seen. You feel me? As far as all of the different things that he did. Like, he was a doctor, a surgeon, a banker. Let's go. Like, matter of fact, we don't even got to sugarcoat it, because I talked about how he's not talked about enough, right? So Dr. S.D. Redman. Come on. Dr. S.D. Redman, right? Now, I think that's his pops right here, because his picture don't really look the same as the one that I had. But look, my video is the one that's, you know, the top result. So my good sister, Florida teacher, Florida's favorite conservative teacher, she's been holding me down for years now. Me and her have been rocking. She's a great teacher. She taught history. I don't know if she's still teaching history now, but she's a huge history buff. And I'm going to let y'all know. All right, bet. Y'all can hear me and all of that. All right, good. I'm going to let y'all know. Me and Teach was going to have a podcast. And I say that to say, like, okay, we were going to have this podcast, but she had a negative run-in with somebody else, and it left a sour taste in her mouth with dealing with people and doing podcasts with them and all of that. So it kind of ruined it. But, like, legit, yo, Dr. S.D. Redman, look, she's a teacher. She teaches history. And she says, I've never heard of Sidney Redman. You dig what I'm saying? More of these amazing stories in Black history. Follow Hotep Dubes for more stories like this. That's a fact. What I'm telling y'all is nobody was talking about Dr. S.D. Redman until I brought him. Like, I'm telling you, nobody in the 21st century was talking about Dr. S.D. Redman. Nobody. His family was poor and his father died. So let's hold on. That autoplay is a mug, ain't it? So let's do it right here. We're going to watch this together. October 12, 1871 in Evansville, Mississippi. His family was poor and his father died when Sidney was only 12 years old. It's said that Sidney didn't start his elementary education until he was 13, where he had to walk 14 miles to school and back every day. Sidney's affinity for education led him to earn a bachelor's degree in 1894. Can y'all hear the video? Okay? Where Sidney would meet and later marry Ida A. Revels, daughter of the first black senator in the U.S. Senate. Yo, this is another thing. When I did Hotep History episode 5, which, yo, listen, I'm putting it out there right now. If you are a video editor, I have the entire episode 5 of Hotep History already, like the audio of it already recorded, edited, and all of that. It's about an hour and some change long. You dig what I'm saying? It's about an hour and some change long. If you have the video editing skills to pay the bills, I want to drop episode 5. I really don't want to skip over episode 5 because so much history is in episode 5. the cultural and class clashes that I researched and I talked about. You dig what I'm saying? In episode 5, not only is it stuff that I know you've never heard before, they're so relevant to today. The cultural clashes between upper and lower classes, the cultural clashes between lower classes and within that class, and then within the higher class. Like, there were beefs between rich black Americans. They had different politics, they had different culture, they had different everything, the way that they did it. So I have it. My man, who I usually would like ask to do it, he's been like MIA for the past like month and some change. So I do want to get episode 5 out there. So if you guys are video editors, I already have the audio recorded and edited. It's already good to go. I just need to add some visuals to it. The reason why I'm not so gung-ho to do it is because the hard drive on my laptop is limited. I think it's only like 100 gigs, and it's a whole bunch of stuff on here. And I accidentally deleted all of the assets to the video. You dig what I'm saying? So I don't want to do it again. I'm not gonna lie. I want to move on to the next thing, but I don't want you guys to not have that information, because we go super deep into the history, super deep into the lore. We go all the way back, I want to say, to the 17th, 16th century, and we bring it all the way to the middle of the 20th century. It's a lot of information, densely packed information. You know how I do when I do my Hotep history series. Like, I make sure that I stuff as much information in there, put as many sources that I can in there, because I want you guys to not only watch the video, but I want you guys to also do your own research. This is something that I seen people in my field. What they do is they kind of gatekeep. They try to gatekeep the information and try to be like the arbiter and being the one and only arbiter of all of the information. I have absolutely no problem sharing my sources. I have no problem telling you the books that I'm reading, where I'm getting the books and stuff like that. I get them from the archives. I get them from the Library of Congress. I get them from all over the net. It's just that I do have, like I said, a unique research style to where it's like I only look it up if I care about it at that time. I remember the latest books that I have in my what was the latest books that I have? The latest books that I have in my library right now. What we have? No, those are just what I read recently. What was the latest one that I downloaded? Deadass right here. This book right here. Let me go to the cover page. The cover page. Where is it? Come on, man. Right here. Can y'all see that? The Negro family in Chicago. That's it. I just wanted to read about what was going on in Chicago. So somebody wrote a book called The Negro Family in Chicago, and I'm just learning about it. My man E. Franklin Frazier. E. Franklin Frazier, he wrote a book disparaging the black bourgeoisie, and that's also in episode 5. You see what I'm saying? And then you got my man Woodward. But he made the book Black Aristocrats. And that talks about, that's kind of like one of the central books to episode 5. So, you know what I'm saying? Again, if you guys are into video editing, you want to, take a crack at it, please just hit me up in the DMs and all of that, and we can make that work. You dig what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, that's how it goes. I go through to the archives. I'll be like, yo, like, what was life like in Chicago in 1890? Or what was Chicago like in 1920? I want to know what's going on. What was it like during the Great Depression or whatnot? You know what I mean? So that's where I go. But the reason why I pause the video is because Herm Revels, you'll see among people like him, rich black Americans have always intermarried with each other. It's similar to what you see now, but it was less overlap. Funny enough, it was less overlap. They were a lot more intentional about courting, dating, relationships, and stuff like that. And, I'll get to that in a second. But they would essentially have arranged marriages. And this is similar. So let's just, let's keep watching.
Herm Revels. He enrolled in the Illinois Medical College that same year and earned his medical degree with honors by 1897. He then returned to Mississippi to gain his master's degree in 1904. He practiced medicine in Jackson, Mississippi, and was credited with being a masterful surgeon.
Yo, it's another thing. Y'all gotta understand that I don't like I know that a lot of people use Google as a search engine and all of that. That's what it's for. I get it. Especially since the AR overviews have taken over Google, it's not really my friend. I still use it, obviously, but you don't get these news articles from Google. They're not gonna go up, not gonna show up. You have to go to the Library of Congress and search through thousands and thousands and thousands, if not millions, of newspapers to find this stuff. You gotta use keywords and shit like that. So it's like, when it comes down to my research, I don't want y'all to think that I'm like just winging it. Like you have to be super intentional with the stuff that you want to learn. Like I wanted to know about SD Redmond, so I had to go into the archives and find out about him. You dig what I'm saying? Like there is not much contemporary information about this man, despite this man being the wealthiest black man in Mississippi. Like that still bugs me out. So this is from a news article, and it says the Mississippi Medical Association, an organization of colored physicians, met at Jackson, Mississippi in April. Dr. S.D. Redmond read a paper on pulmonary tuberculosis in the Negro and its alarming mortality. Dr. Redmond said that if the present death rate was kept up, that in a few years the Negro race would be extinct. It was unanimously adopted that a campaign for cleaner lives among Negroes would be started by the physicians of the state at once. It's literally saving lives all throughout the state of Mississippi, and we don't know about him. We know about Charles Drew. We know about, Daniel Hall? What was the doctor's name? Y'all got to help me. And tell people, yo, share this, yo. Retweet this, let people know we in here. I want to have a conversation. I understand that I'm not, I'm a little bit more sporadic when it comes to my streaming and whatnot, you dig? But share this, get people up in here. Y'all ain't doing nothing. It's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's rock out. We chilling. You know what I mean? So yeah, like he's a premier, prominent person in Mississippi during the early 20th century, late 19th century, and we don't know about him. So let's keep going.
Surgeon, saving the lives of many patients local and abroad, and one of the premier authorities in medicine by his peers. He eventually took his talents to Boston and enrolled in Harvard's Medical College for a postgraduate program. Throughout this entire time, Sidney was investing in various markets ranging from mines to real estate. Some were successful.
Yo, another thing. I'm telling you, it's going to be a little bit of a rant, but I really don't understand how within one generation, Booker T. Washington went from being like having entire establishments named after him. Like there's an entire town named after Booker T. Washington. I don't know if y'all know this, but there's an entire town in Oklahoma named after Booker T. Washington. It's called Booker T, Oklahoma. Like it bugs me out that we went from that to nobody like really caring and having mad bad shit to say about him. It's nuts to me. This was the local newspaper of Booker T, Oklahoma. They named an entire town after this man, son. They named an entire town after him, and they don't put nowhere near the respect on his name that he should have. So it's incredible to me. It bugs me out. I don't know how we come from having what was it called? Was it the USS Booker T? Was that what it was called? The SS Booker T. Excuse me. The SS Booker T. Washington, son. They have like literal ships named after this man. Literal ships named after him. And now people are calling him a coon, son. They're calling him a coon. See, look, Library of Congress. Library of Congress. Y'all got to peep. But yeah, Let's see. Launching of the SS Booker T. Washington. The SS Booker T. Washington, the first Liberty ship named for a Negro, is shown at the fitting out pier a short time after it was launched at the California Shipbuilding Corporation's yard. Marian Anderson, of course, celebrated contralto, christened the ship, which was named for the noted Negro educator. Like, it was shit. There was literal ships named after this man, son. And then you got idiots in my mentions calling him a coon, son. Look at this, son. This is incredible. Do you niggas have a ship named after you? I think not. I think not. But anyway, let's go back to the video. Let's go back to the video.
Others weren't. He even became a banker. He was president and prominent shareholder of the American Savings and Trust Company, the Union Savings
Like,
Bank,
where do you think
and the
on
Merchants
Google
Bank
you
and
getting
Trust
this at?
Company, all located
Nowhere on
in
Google you
Mississippi.
getting this
It
bank.
is also said that Sidney owned over 300 homes in the historic Farish Street district, a prominent...
Yo, we talk about Black Wall Street. We talk about Black Wall Street a lot. But how many of you have ever heard of the Farish Street community in Mississippi? This is what I'm saying, yo. This condensing of our history is so bad. Too much of our history is being left out. Cause we talk about, and the thing is, the fucking funny part about it is, I think the only reason that Black Wall Street or the Greenwood District in Tulsa is talked about the way it is because of the bombing and the riot that happened. If it was just a regular thriving black community, I don't think people would even care about it. And this goes into a whole rant that I've been having for, I want to say years at this point. I've always been telling people to stop centering white people, stop centering, the oppression and all of the other stuff in our narratives. Because at the end of the day, that's not how history is taught in any other aspect. When we're talking about Thomas Edison, or when we're talking about Andrew Carnegie, or if we're talking about any of these prominent white people, we don't sit there and center black people in there. We don't center whatever was going on with other races when it came to these people. You dig what I'm saying? We only center white people in black narratives. So you'll never get to learn about a Farish Street community. You dig what I'm saying? You won't learn about Soul City, North Carolina, because it doesn't center white people. And it has a lot of psychological implications when it comes to that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I don't like the fact that our history has now been reduced to whatever white people or the dominant society allows us or disallows us to have. Look up the Farish Street community.
Black American neighborhood in Jackson, Mississippi. He owned two of the largest drugstores in the city and was regarded as the wealthiest black man in the state, maybe even the country. In 1910...
All right, hold on. Yo, listen. One of the things that I learned, and one of the things that I've been seeing consistently when it comes to like wealthy, entrepreneurial, industrious black Americans, they were fighting for the first Negro millionaire or the richest Negro. Like that was a thing. All the way back was Madam C.J. Walker, right? They talk about Madam C.J. Walker. I talk about what's my lady's name? The Poro College. Annie Turnbow Malone. Now, Madam C.J. Walker went to the Poro College. Annie Turnbow Malone had an entire product line, and the Poro College was, oh my goodness, y'all. We're going to finish this video and then we'll get to Annie, because another millionaire. But they go back and forth in the history books about, was it Madam C.J. Walker or was it Annie Turnbow Malone that was the first black female millionaire? So when it comes down to like S.D. Redmond or what's another black millionaire? Charles Banks, T. Thomas Fortune. I was talking about him the other day, yesterday. It's a lot of them. And they all say, oh, first Negro millionaire. And I love that because that's good competition. Even if it's for narrative's sake. If you got $1 million in St. Louis and I got $1 million in New York and he got $1 million in Mississippi and he got $1 million in Texas, or now we just fighting to see who got the million first. Who's keeping the million? You dig what I'm saying? That's good. To me, that's a good competition to have. And if we're gonna have that conversation, we can look at it when who was that? It was Hove and Diddy. They were fighting to see who would become a billionaire first and all of that. And then Dr. Dre came, and like that's fun. Like that, I think that's dope. And I think 100 years from now, people like me are gonna look at the Dr. Dre's, the Hoves, and the Diddy's like, as far as their wealth. Okay, just talking about their wealth. I'm not getting into all of that other stuff, but when it comes down to them building wealth and all of that, I do think that's going to be one of those things. Like, who was a billionaire first? Who became a billionaire first? Robert Smith as well. So once we get to the end of this video, I'll speak on the whole resume. But check it out.
And Sidney got his law degree and became a lawyer. From the research that I've done on his career, he was very successful at representing his clients. He was disbarred in 1915, but regained his rights to practice law shortly after. Sidney dabbled in politics as well. He was the chairman of the Republican County Executive Committee, chairman of the Republican State Committee, and was a delegate at the Republican National Convention from 1896 to 1944. Sidney died in 1948 at the age of 76. For one man to come from absolute poverty, a single home-induced tragedy, and the slower starts in education, to end up as a wealthy doctor, surgeon, lawyer, banker, real estate mogul, and political leader in one lifetime should be celebrated as the highest achievements a man can make in this.
Yo, that's a fact. That's a fact. This man's resume was crazy. So let's go to the tweet, right? Hold on. He was a lawyer, a doctor, a surgeon, a businessman, a banker, a real estate mogul, an inventor, a political leader, and Mississippi's wealthiest black man. Like, this is one hell of a resume to have in one lifetime. Like, I don't know anybody who has. Salute to the chat. Salute to the chat. I'm peeping it now. Steven says, definitely not going to find a lot of this on Google. People got to go outside. That's a fact. He also says, if anything, you could be the reason that this info makes it to Google. And that's literally what happened, bro. Like, that's literally what happened. Like, if you Google SD Redmond, Hotep Dubes comes up. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of that fact. My man Bert, what's going on, man? What's going on? Salute. But yeah, like this is one of the most illustrious, if not the most illustrious resumes to have. He dabbled in everything. And I do believe that I did highlight his inventions in the tweet. So we got to go to view the quotes because I think I quoted my own tweet. Let's see. Aha, here we go. Boom. Forgot to include his inventions. Apparently, he invented a device called the Minesweeper, which could be attached to aircrafts to destroy active mines. He also co-invented a torpedo arrestor, which was used to deter incoming enemy torpedoes. This is what he did. Like, look, like, this is real life. He really did this. Like, if he would have just achieved one of these things, he would have been lit. But he did 7 different things throughout one lifetime. And it's not like he came from a super affluent family or anything like that. His pops died. His mom's, had to take care of them. He had to get a job early, like a lot of people during this time. He had to help take care of his family. And he went on to create, like, just look at the headline. Noted physician wins Minesweeper patent. You feel me? Like, come on, son. And then the next article. Foreign agent offers to buy torpedo arrestor invented by 2 medicos. Like, this is crazy. And it was offered $15,000. Now, I don't see the date. On this. But he lived from 1871 to 1948. The war was, 1939 to around that time. So let's go. Let's look at, adjusted for inflation, how much money that would have been. Let's look. We'll do 1945. We'll do 1945. How much was 15,000 back then? Yeah, over $250,000. Over $250,000 they was offering my man. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying when it comes to our history. How is it that this man is not how is this man not like Lord? Like, how is he not in the national museums? How is he not talked about at length? And he has this type of resume, son. This is crazy. This is so ill to me, son. Like, and y'all gotta understand, I really love this stuff, son. Like, I literally am in the archives all day. This room that I am in right now, I'm in here all day. Outside of when I go take my little lunch breaks and smoke breaks, I'm here all day long. I'm in the archives all day long. So now let's get to Annie, right? We was going to talk about Annie Turnbull Malone. Now she's a little bit more contemporarily known because of the Madam C.J. Walker stuff and stuff like that. But I do have a video on her, and I think it's best to just go to the Hotep history page. You know what I'm saying? Let's just go to Hotep histories, because that way I don't have to go through all of the other stuff when I be trolling people on the timeline and all of that. You know what I mean? Again, make sure y'all sharing this, because I want as many people up in here. Word, Bert. Like we be telling ourselves like, yo, I ain't got enough time in the day. I ain't got enough time in the day. And Sydney was getting it done. You hear me? So let's go. Let's go to the media. Let's go to the media. Yeah. And yo, I'm glad you said that, Von Gogh, because that's what I'm not even gonna say I believe. I know this to be true. I know that the S.D. Redmonds of America, the Booker T. Washingtons of America, the Junius G. Groves of America, they put them to the side because it doesn't fit their narrative. Junius G. Groves was a former slave. Booker T. Washington was a former slave, and both of them not only became prominent men, wealthy men, but they also helped others. And it didn't have anything to do with white people for real. Like Junius G. Groves, his connect was white, but it was a share. Like he was a sharecropper. It's just that because of Junius G. Groves' work ethic, his ability to maintain the soil and grow crops the way that he was, able to grow crops, that as a connect, you're going to want to give that person as much land as possible because you making money off the top because you own the land. And then Junius and his wife, can't forget Mrs. Groves, they work together, and they bubble to the point that he becomes what they call the Negro King of Potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Or the Negro Potato King, to where he has business in Canada, the United States, and Mexico. He has the North American potato market down pat, him and his wife. To tell that story to children after he died would tell them, hey, you're able to do what Junius G. Groves did. But it's not filled with oppression. It's not filled with a bunch of racism. It's not filled with a bunch of things that they've been pushing as far as our babies go when it comes to Black American history. Let's just be honest. They've made the Black American historical narrative one of nothing but perpetual struggle, strife, pain, oppression, racism, what have you. It does not fit the narrative. You're absolutely correct. So they'll give you crumbs. The crumbs are like, oh, this white person helped out, or despite white people, objecting or pushing back on their progress, they still made things happen. Excuse me. But that's not dope. Like, it's cool. Okay, everybody loves a good hero's journey, but y'all focus on all of the bad stuff that they went through instead of all of the triumph, right? So that's the reason why. So where we at? We gonna get to Hannah. Y'all don't know about Hannah. We gonna get to Hannah in a minute. That's the original city girl right there. We gonna get to her, but this is Annie Turnbull Malone, y'all. Let's get into it.
What's shaking, everybody? President Hotep Dubes here, and today we're going to be talking about Annie Turnbull Malone. Now, Annie was born in 1869 in Metropolis, Illinois. Her parents were newly freed slaves. Her father fought in the Civil War, but they both died when Annie was very young. She attended school in Peoria, but after she dropped out with an interest in chemistry, she became a hairdresser with her sister. At the age of 20, Annie formulated her own shampoo. During this time in the hair industry, Black American women used soap, goose fat, and other harsh chemicals that damaged their hair follicles and scalp. Annie created her own product that helped grow and straighten hair without it being harmful. Annie would sell her products out of her buggy all throughout the state of Illinois. By 1902, she moved her business to St. Louis, Missouri, and incorporated her Poro brand beauty products. In 1917, Annie opened the doors to her Poro College.
Yo, this is real, y'all. Look at this building, son. This is early 20th century. She bought this building, son. Now, this is what I say, 1917? 1917, this building cost $1 million. Not adjusted for inflation, it was worth $1 million. No. So, let me show y'all how much money Annie spent on this building. And y'all let me know if Madam C.J. Walker had it like that. Because the narratives that I read from her and other people, that Madam C.J. Walker was like, she was one of those like blowing money fast type people. You feel me? Come on, what's up? What's up with my internet connection? I hope I'm not coming in all choppy because this is loading up all slow. This is loading up. All right, so boom. She spent $1 million in 1917. Come on. Come on, son. Why is it taking so long to load up, son? There we go. Boom. What? In 1917. Ah, damn it. You gonna embarrass me in front of my friends' internet? It's all good. I'm not tripping. We'll get to that. We'll get back to that in a second. But she spent $1 million on this building. So let's get back into it.
A beauty college that was named after the Poro Society.
Yeah, we're going to get into the Poro Society too. But look at this. Yo, look at this building, son. Like, I can't get over this. She bought this in 1917, son. Like, this is crazy, son. This building is crazy. I think we get into all of the different departments and all that other stuff of the building, but this alone is incredible. That one black woman owns this building. One.
Secret organization in West Africa that exemplified physicality and spirituality.
Now listen, I know that as it pertains to particular culture and politics right now, that there's I understand that it's the diaspora war and all of that, but you know, as far as the lineage of FBA and all of that, I do understand that there has to be what they call a delineation because of fights for reparation and different cultural differences that may, you know, clash between the groups and all of that. But like when you go further and further back in Black American history, the respect and reverence that they have for their West African, specifically their West African ancestors or their West African connections, they really didn't have that issue. Now, I will say though, Booker T. Washington, he would speak on the cultural differences between Black Caribbeans, Black Africans, and Black Americans. He didn't disparage them, but he did speak plainly and sternly about the cultural differences. And we can get into that in a little bit. How old was she at the time? So I'm not that great at mental math. She was born in 1869, and this building was bought in 1917. So let's see. I could do the calculator real quick. Where's the calculator at? Boom. So 1917 minus 1869. She was 48. So, or roughly 48. You dig? Matter of fact, I could actually do the net worth thing. I just wanted to show y'all, but I could do the in. Let's see. So $1 million. I'm gonna get to y'all in just a second. In 1917, will be worth this much. Y'all see that? Almost $25 million. That's how much Annie spent. You feel me? On this building.
This $1 million school complex included business offices, a manufacturing plant, and training centers. It was located in the upper middle class black neighborhood of St. Louis and served black Americans during segregation. This school also included classrooms, beauty shops, laboratories, an auditorium, conference rooms, a gentleman's smoking parlor, a cafeteria, dining halls, ice cream parlors, a bakery, an emergency hospital, a theater, a gymnasium, a chapel, roof gardens, a laundromat, seamstress shops, dorms, and guest rooms.
Golly, yo, no, son. What, son? What? Y'all can't tell me nothing about the ancestors, boy. Now, we got to wheel that back. I don't think y'all heard what she had in that building, son. What? Hold on. She went off. She decked this building out, son. Let's go back.
$1 million school complex included business offices, a manufacturing plant, and training centers. It was located in the upper middle class black neighborhood of St. Louis and served black Americans during segregation. This school also included classrooms, beauty shops, laboratories, an auditorium, conference rooms, a gentleman's smoking parlor, a cafeteria, dining halls, ice cream parlors, a bakery, an emergency hospital, a theater, a gymnasium, a chapel, roof gardens, a laundromat, seamstress shops, dorms, and guest rooms.
Yo, son. What, son? And y'all be trying to tell me about white supremacy and oppression, son. I don't want to hear it. Yo, listen. I know it existed, okay? I understand that racism and all of that stuff existed. What I'm trying to let y'all know is, did you know Annie Turnbull Malone had $1 million adjusted for inflation, almost $25 million building that hosted laboratories and classrooms and training centers and cafeterias and dorms and all of that other stuff? And I'm let you know, this is a beauty college. This is not like Harvard. They're teaching beauty in here. They're teaching hair and makeup. You feel me? So, like, y'all not understanding, like, yo, the ancestors was really kicking shit up. They was really smoking shit. And y'all want to tell me about Jim Crow all day. Y'all want to reduce Annie Turnbull Malone's story to be like, oh, well, it was super racist in St. Louis, Missouri during 1917 and all of that. She built an entire complex. It was a laundromat. She had trucks. I don't know if y'all saw. We can go back. Okay? We can go back. She had trucks. She had an entire garage, fam, for delivery. Didn't I say so? Like it's not my video, right? Rooftop gardens. Listen, they are that, like, they'll add $20 to your meal at a fancy smancy restaurant because at the top of the restaurant there's a garden and you can sit in it, and they'll add another $20 to your meal just because of the location. And that was just what the students of Poro College had. That was it. That's just how they lived. Mostly women, by the way. Mostly black women, by the way. Like, this is incredible. And this is what I be talking about. This is a 2-minute and 9-second video. But look how, like, there's so much life in this, son. There is so much information, jam-packed. So imagine a 1-hour video on the cultural clashes and the class clashes between black Americans from the 1600s to the middle of the 20th century. Imagine how much information I can pack, pause, in an hour-long video. All of the information that I packed in this was 2 minutes. 2 minutes. That's it.
A laundromat, seamstress shops, dorms, and guest rooms. Annie is recorded as the country's first black woman millionaire,
holding over $14 million in assets.
$14 million in assets. Look at her, man. That's auntie, man. That's your granny. $14 million in assets? I wish my voice wasn't so hoarse, son. Cause I'm hyped, son. This is an old ass video. I made this video last year and I still get hyped like I just made it. Like I didn't make it. Like I just discovered it. So listen, I get it. Jim Crow existed. Okay? I understand black codes existed. I understand oppression existed. I understand racism and all of that. I'm not discounting any of that, son. I get that segregation was happening. But we are talking about a woman that had $14 million in assets, my G. During this time. By the time she died in what, 1948? 1948. This is decades before the civil rights movement. Well, I'm not going to say decades, but you get what I'm saying. At least a decade before the civil rights movement, son. Like, before the Civil Rights Act. A decade, almost 20 years before the Civil Rights Act was passed, this black woman from Peoria, Illinois, or Chicago, Illinois, moved to St. Louis and became a multimillionaire, my nigga. Before it was legal for her to vote, before the Civil Rights Act passed under Lyndon B. Johnson and all of that, before all of that, even though like the Democrats was pushing against that and all of that, but before all of that happened, she amassed $14 million before she left the earth and left the building.
By 1926, the college employed 170.
Hold on. So this is before. Hold on. Listen, like I said, I made this video last year, so I don't remember everything that I said. I ain't gonna lie. This is a little, you know, between me and you. I don't have the best memory. It's the reason why I write stuff down and I document it. You dig what I'm saying? I think that's one of the reasons why, like, subconsciously I gravitate towards history, because like this stuff is forgotten. And it's like it plays in my head like, yo, I can't forget. You know what I'm saying? These people, like our people today, can't forget about Annie Turnbull Malone. So we're not even talking about her death. We talking about 1925. So let's go back a little bit because I keep cutting myself off.
Employed 175 people and graduated over. College employed 126. The college employed 175 people and graduated over 75,000 students from Africa, the Caribbean, Haiti, Canada, and the Philippines.
So, like I said, back then, we did have our cultural differences based upon where on the planet we were born. But we were more alike than we were different. And the relationship between black Americans and black immigrants was a little bit better. Like I said, there were differences, and those differences do cause a little tension. They do cause a little stress and strife. But these women were coming from all around the world to get educated by Annie and her school. And a lot of them just went back home. And I got a video for that too when it comes to Howard. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all in the chat, just, you know, be like, yo, black immigrants Howard. Somebody in the chat, just write down black immigrants Howard. And I promise you, I'll show you what I'm talking about when it comes to that. But Annie Turnbull Malone, what did I say? What did I say? 75,000 graduates. Well done. I'm not God, but well done. You can't tell me Annie wasted her life. You can't tell me Annie didn't do what she was supposed to do for black America. She put all of these black women in great position because, I mean, let's be honest, most of the graduates would be black women. She did her thing. That was her entire thing. You feel me, chat?
Students from Africa, the Caribbean, Haiti, Canada, and the Philippines. Mm-hmm. One of them being Madam C.J. Walker.
Boom. So, son, please tell me, and this is no diss to Madam C.J. Walker, if you one of my students, how could you be the first millionaire? If you coming up under me, you got your game from Poro College. How could you possibly be richer or the first? Not even richer, because you should supersede the people that came before you. But there's no way that you're the first if you are learning from me. That's not how it goes. You feel me? That's how it reminded me how I used to troll my dad. Like, everybody used to say, "Oh, you look just like your father." I'm like, nah, my father looked like me. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. So, so that's Annie Turnbull Malone. So we got to go back to my page. So let's just open up a new tab. Matter of fact, is this the tab? Yeah, we got to open up a new tab. There we go. And I want to say, where we at? We just got to scroll through the media, man. Sorry. I know it's a lot in here. But bear with me. Because I do think it's important. To show you this video of these foreign exchange, it's not foreign exchange, but these foreign students from what they would call the black diaspora from all over the world coming to learn at Howard. Let's see. It's so much history. Yo, deadass. Scroll through my media one day, just for your own sake. Scroll through my media. It's so much history in here, man. I don't care. I'm not hiding nothing. All of this stuff is great. Like this Code of Etiquette book is written by black people, telling you how to behave in public and in private. Great information. Again, this is the book I was telling y'all about right here. Willard, not Woodward. Willard Gatewood. You see how I got the name mixed up, but Willard Gatewood. Check that book out. But where are they? Oh man. Let's see. Where we at? It's so much history. Oh man. Who do y'all think this is? Put in the chat who y'all think this little kid is. You know what I'm saying? Read the caption and give me your guesses. It says, cute kid. It's crazy. This is a boy, by the way. I know a lot of the times 19th century boy, like baby boy clothes, look like 21st century girl clothes for some reason. Like, I would never put my son in this, but this is the 19th century, so that's how he's dressing him. Cute kid. It's crazy he grew up to be someone I disagree with almost completely. I knew he was sick when he started losing his hair. So I knew he was sick when he started losing his hair. Had to employ the comb over technique. Ah, my boy Scruggs. I already knew Scruggs was gonna get it. Facts, Scruggs. You already know that's W.E.B. Du Bois, man. Du Bois, however you want to pronounce it. Y'all know, y'all hip. All right. I'm glad y'all with me. Wait. Is this one? Hold on. Oh no, that's episode 4. That was gonna hurt my heart. I didn't know if I even put y'all on to the episode 5, but it's fine. Man. Oh, where we at? Yeah, I made a video about the diaspora war. Both sides hated. Excuse me. Both sides didn't like how I talked about it, so that lets me know I was on point. Let's see. What else is it? I know it when I see it. Let's see. There's so much history in here, man. So much history. Let's see. Where is it? Come on. That was Malcolm telling people to stop fucking with one party over the other. He been saying that. People be lying on their ancestors so much, yo. Malcolm would have did this. Martin would have did that. Y'all be lying. Y'all don't study them enough to tell me what they would have did. If you don't think Malcolm X would have sat down with Trump, you out of your mind. He would have sat down with Joe Biden and Trump. And that's the thing. People got to stop putting their little emotions and shit when it comes to politics. Malcolm X was a very stoic man when it came to that type of stuff. That man held court with American Nazis. What's the American Nazi name? George Rockwell? Right? When the Nation of Islam, they had that, I want to say they met in New York City. Jeez Louise. Now I'm getting a little aggravated because it would be so much easier for me to, this video right here. This one, I'm play that one for y'all. That I didn't put that into episode 5, so that goes into the cultural clash. We'll get into that in just a second, but I gotta show y'all this video of these foreign Howard students, yo. Where we at? Oh, Sarah Rector. Y'all familiar with Sarah Rector? Let me know in the chat if y'all familiar with Sarah Rector, cause I could put y'all on game. Hey now, this book right here, Quiet as Kept. Quiet as Kept. Let's see, man. That's my boy. That's my boy, Samuel B. Fuller. Samuel B. Fuller. I think we getting close, y'all. Bear with me. We gonna be here for a little bit. So don't trip. We ain't gonna rush this. Oh man. Look, this is exactly what I was talking about right here. Look. Literal Nazis, American Nazis sitting with the Nation of Islam. You feel me? This is what stoicism looks like. This is what strategy over emotion looks like. You got to face these people head on. Running from them, acting like they don't exist is not going to do anything for you. Unless you're going to build regardless. If you're going to ignore them and then be a bitch about it, then you ignoring them for no reason. But this meeting, that was important. And it's not to say that Malcolm X became a Nazi or a Nazi supporter. They just understood like, yo, son, we got our views. And we need to understand each other. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, little Nazi black boy. Oh, yeah. Me and David Banner. This is when I was like knee deep in like Hotep. Knee deep. You feel me? Me and David Banner. Shout out to David Banner, man. Let's see. Oh, man. I know it's coming up. Oh, man. All right, this is what we're going to do. Because I'm tired of scrolling. It's getting on my nerves. I am going to look it up on my phone. Because I'm sick and tired of having to keep scrolling. So this is what we're going to do. Diaspora. Yeah. All right. Look how quickly I found this. I think we almost there though. We almost there. But anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to. How are we going to do this? Can I DM myself? Let's see if I can DM myself. I mean, they let you text yourself. Can I DM myself? I think I did, y'all. Now listen. I get to peek into my DMs, but don't be telling nobody, you heard? Where is it, son? Isn't it here? People be DMing me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Right here. DM myself. Finally. Sorry about that, y'all.
Our good neighbor policy is further solidified by the influx of foreign students to Howard University. They come from Africa, the Caribbean, and elsewhere.
Represented here is a group of students from all over the world who have come to study at Howard University. In that group, we have 6 Liberian government students who have come on arrangement with the Cultural Relations Bureau of the United States State Department.
Now,
They
you
are
know,
studying engineering.
before we go any further, this is what would they call this? Because I wouldn't say these are tethers. I wouldn't say they would call them tethers, but I guess some of them will call them tethers. But again, this was in 1942. The source for this video it's called like American News or something like that. And this was not gonna say propaganda, but it was a source of media to bolster support for the war efforts and stuff. So you had a bunch of foreign black people coming from, like they said, Africa, the Caribbean, different places, and learning at Howard University. But I want y'all to hear what they say. Okay, I hope y'all can hear it, okay? Because I want you to hear what dude says.
And other courses and returning to Africa. We also have a student from Freetown, Sierra Leone. We have students from Panama, British Guiana, and other countries in the Caribbean and the West Indies. And we have also some students from the Bahamas.
The students are, for the greater part, in the College of Liberal Arts. Eventually, they will get into the professional schools. In a few years from then, they will turn out to be doctors, engineers, dentists, town planners, and they all have strong intention of returning to their homeland.
Said returning to their homeland. You feel me? They got the education at Howard, and it says foreign students crowd Howard U. Take up many arts, trades, and professions. But at the end of the video, dude said that we getting all this education to bring it back to our homeland. That's what it was called. It was called All American News. That's what it was called. So that the relationship between black Americans and black immigrants or black foreigners, it's always been there. Like I said, this was in 1942. So, you know, I understand that the beef right now is not it's not the greatest and all that, but we did have some camaraderie there. So now I want to put y'all on to Hannah, because Hannah, oh boy. Oh man, I need y'all to know about Hannah, son. Let's see.
What's shaking, everybody? President Hotep Dubes here, and today we're going to be talking about Hannah Elliott. Now, Hannah was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1865. She was one of 9 children, and her father owned a well-respected catering business. In 1884, Hannah was sent to prison and banished from her home after she stole a ball gown for her sister's wedding. After her short jail stint, Hannah moved to New York City and started working in a Manhattan brothel as a sex worker. She met a wealthy glass factory owner named John R. Platt, who was 45 years her senior. Platt used to lavish Hannah with large sums of money and even bought her a boarding house to make rental income. She used all the...
All right, so off the dribble, okay? Off the dribble, it's given Pretty Woman, okay? Now, I lived in Philly for 10 years. She's a John, son. I'm not going to hold you. But she was a John who thought big. You got to think big, bitch. You got to think big. If you're going to be out, if you're going to be a city girl, you got to think big. Now, I'm not promoting or telling you to be one of these chicks that's outside and all of that. But if you're going to get your hot girl on, if you're going to get your summer hot girl, city girl, all that shit, like if you're going to get that off, you got to go hard. You got to go hard. And she found a white dude. You know what I'm saying? She was a prostitute. Keeping it gangster. She was fair-skinned. So that helped because you can attract the big wigs and all of that other stuff. But she hooked a big fish. She hooked a big fish, my G. Let's get into it.
All of this money and purchase herself a mansion in Central Park.
How you come from, look, son, she come from the hoods of Philly. Well, I'm not going to say the hoods because her pops was a well-respected, caterer, right? He owned a business. So you come from the streets of Philadelphia. You get booked because you steal a dress to go to your sister's wedding. After you get out of jail, you go to New York City. You become a prostitute. You find a John who just so happens to be rich as hell, but old as hell. He's 45 years older than you. Probably older than your pops. You know what I'm saying? Probably older than your pops. You find him, and he hits you with enough bread and assets for you to be able to cop a mansion in Central Park.
She rented a home to a man by the name of Cornelius Williams. Cornelius will go on to shoot and kill city planner Andrew H. Green, who founded Central Park, the MoMA, and other landmarks,
Yo, son.
mistaking him for John Platt.
Yo, this is why I love history so much. I don't care about the movies. So when I was doing the research for this video, son, I was at the edge of my seat reading this stuff. This is no visuals at all. Outside of the little pictures that I have of these people and these places, it's all in my mind, son. It's all in my imagination. And I'm over here like, yo, son, this is going down, son. I would love to watch just an episode of this. You don't even have to have, you don't have to have, a 10 episode series about this, even though it could be stretched out into that. But just watching this story play out. This girl comes from Philadelphia, makes it to New York as a prostitute, lucks up on a white millionaire. Then, I don't want to even, let's just watch it. Let's just watch it.
It is believed that Hannah and John were engaged in a secret marriage. John kept his relationship with Hannah away from friends and family, likely due to Hannah's race and previous occupation. However, the marriage...
Yo, y'all gotta understand. I'm not sitting here acting like this is the first time I watched this video. I promise you, I remember bits and pieces of this video. But I'm being genuine when I say certain details were lost on me just because I be researching so much. And I'm telling you, son, rewatching this with y'all, I'm like, yo, son. She knew, son. She knew. She was like, all right, you know that you can't really go super hard with me because I was a whore before and I'm black. So you know what time it is when it comes to the times that we are in and all of that. So now remember, son is 45 years older than Hannah. He's 45 years older than Hannah. So of course, it's like, oh, she's preying on me. What does the headline say? John Platt says woman pretended to love him in order to secure his wealth. Let's watch. Let's just keep watching.
was discovered by John's family, and after some convincing, John accused Hannah of blackmailing and extorting him out of $684,000 or $23.5 million adjusted for inflation.
Dog. Son. So this is what I think really happened. Okay? This is what I think really happened. I think he gets caught, right? He gets caught out there. They tried to kill him. They killed somebody else. He obviously realizes that this girl who's 45 years younger than him doesn't actually love him. Now, he's been keeping Hannah on the low. He's been keeping Hannah on the low, not telling nobody that they got a relationship and all of that, right? He got to come clean now because he's about to lose his bread. Like he's not realizing how much money he spent, son. John spent $685,000, which is basically $25 million on this woman, son. When I say he was tricking off crazy on Hannah, he was tricking off so crazy, son. What kind of trick? Yo, son, you can have whatever you like. Don't got shit on John Platt, son. $685,000 on one woman, son, that he's not, I mean, technically married to, but on the low with it and all of that stuff. Like, I'm not going to say that was his side, because I just think he just kept the marriage low. You feel me? But $685,000 over however many years you've known this woman. Not to mention the assets. This is just the bread. New York man claims to have paid $685,000 to mulatto woman. Son, how, my G? How? So that's what I said. Like, if you gonna go that route and be a bird and be a prostitute, you got to do it this way, or you're not doing it the right way. I'm sorry. You got to do it the way Hannah did it if you're going to be a whore out here, son. Like, I don't even think Young Miami got this out of Diddy, son. Like, I don't know any kept woman that's a whore that made out as good as Hannah, son. I don't. And I'm not saying that Young Miami's a whore before y'all get into that, but like Hannah was. And she got hella bread. So anyway, his family finds out that he's rocking with Hannah, right? And they like, yo, John, where's your fucking money, son? Where's your money? What did you do with your money? And he over there, old as hell. You feel me? Like, I mean, I've been paying this girl, Hannah. You know, I'm in love with her. She loves me. Old dude, old man shit. You feel me? And they like, oh no, who is this girl? Well, she's this mulatto. Mulatto? She's a Negro? He's like, well, half. Nah. Mulatto is just like light black. That's mulatto means Negro, my nigga. Like, mulatto, we don't care. The only reason why we even call it mulatto because there was like some white in there. But this is a Negro woman, period. You spent $685,000 on a Negro woman, John? And he over there like, yeah. He over there like, yeah. They're like, yo, listen. No, you didn't. What we're going to say is that she robbed you. That she stole this money from you. Because there's no goddamn way you can go outside being as prominent as you are and tell the public that you tricked off $685,000. Because in 2025, it's going to be adjusted for inflation and it's going to be the equivalent of $25 million, John. We can't have that on your jacket. We cannot have that on your jacket. So this is what happened next.
According to Platt, Hannah was already married and her husband threatened to beat him up and expose him for buying sex from a black woman.
Oh my God, son. This story is insane, son. So check this out. I'm trying to keep it together, y'all. Check this out. So Hannah's actual husband comes through with the muscle like, yo. Nah, we gotta watch it. We just watch it.
Hannah maintained her innocence, but was arrested and held on $30,000 bail. After losing his initial court case, the Court of Appeals ruled against Platt, allowing Hannah to keep her fortune. As she took the stand, Hannah described how her money was kept in 15 different savings banks, as well as houses and land worth $150,000, furniture and plates worth $100,000, and jewels valued at much more than both. After winning her case, Hannah started evicting white tenants out of her apartment buildings.
Yeah, then she started wilding. Then she started wilding with the bread. So check. So Hannah's actual husband. Now, what do you think her husband did for a living? Huh? What do you think Hannah's husband did? Let me know in the chat what you think who her husband was. That a young prostitute in New York City. Who do you think her husband was that would come in and tell John, who is a John, yo, we need all of it. We need all of it. Who was Hannah's husband, y'all? Tell me in the chat. Come on, Smurf. Who was Hannah's husband? Come on. What was the occupation of, excuse me, no, not the lawyer, not a lawyer. If Hannah's a prostitute and a big burly nigga comes in this mansion and says, hey, white man, you know you've been buying sex from this black woman. Give me the bread. Who is managing a prostitute, Smurf? Tell me. What do they call those men? Come on, Smurf. What do they call those men? You feel me? Let me know in the chat. What do y'all think who Hannah's husband was? Yeah. Yeah. He's the pimp. He's the pimp. They was playing this man from day one. He's the pimp. Son. So, like I said, John Platt's family is like, yo, we got to get this story straight. We got to let these people know that she had a secret husband this entire time, and he's out here extorting you because he knows that you can't go into the public and say that you've been buying sex from this black woman. I told you, that mulatto shit don't mean nothing. That mulatto shit don't mean nothing, dog. When you a mulatto, you a Negro, bro. I'm letting you know that right now. Like, yeah, you could pass and all that other white passing bullshit, but it's like when it comes down to them knowing you're a mulatto, they don't give a fuck about that. One drop rule. It's always been one drop rule, especially in America. So once they find out, that you a mulatto, it's a wrap. You black. So you about to go public. You a prominent man in New York City. You about to tell them that not only are you not really married to this woman, but you've been paying this black woman for sex for however many years, and she cleared you out this way. So boom, he sues. Hannah gets arrested. Her pimp or whoever gets her out of jail. Then she appeals. You feel me? Or he sues again. He tries to sue for his money back. Because, you know, this is $685,000. Like I said, adjusted for inflation, this is $25 million, yo. $25 million. And the judge is like, nah. The judge is like, nah, bro. Nah, you got to eat that. Judge is like, yo. The judge is like, yo, judgment for the plaintiff. That woman gets to keep all her assets. She gets to keep all her money. She gets to keep all of it. And then she get to bragging about how much she had. Hold on, we got to go back. Oh, my God. You got to take this L, son. Oh, my God. Hey, y'all niggas wonder why I be in the archives the way I do, son. You can't make this up. This is real life reporting. These are real stories. This is not Netflix, y'all. This is not Paramount. This is not FX. It's not that. Hold on. Let's go back. Oh, I love history so much, son. Oh, man. Come on. There we go. Let's go back.
From a black woman. Hannah maintained her innocence, but
said, yo, I didn't do shit. I didn't do nothing illegal. This man liked me. Me and him were married. He loved me. And he was giving me money like any husband would do for his wife. Like any husband would do for his wife. It says Justice Drugo modifies this order and then summons is tacked to the door of the house of the Negress. That was a thing, Negro and Negress. In Central Park. She lived in Central Park, son. It was found she would attempt to leave the city tomorrow because that is a holiday and no papers could be served.
Was arrested and held on $30,000 bail.
Right.
After losing his initial court case, the Court of Appeals ruled against Platt.
So he lost the initial case. He lost. The judge told him the first time the judge told him, like, yo, dog, you got to take the L, bro. You got to take this L. Bozo, idiot. You are old dummy. You spent all of your money on this one whore, and now you trying to come to me and make this woman give you this money back. So let's read the article. Albany, New York, November 20th. The Court of Appeals this afternoon handed down a decision affirming the judgment of the Appellate Division, First Department, which dismissed the appeal of John R. Platt from a decision denying his demand for the restitution of about $684,000 by Hannah Elias. This case has been one of great notoriety. Now remember, Platt wanted to keep this low. He wanted to keep this as low as possible. And this is in every newspaper in New York, son. Oh my God, son. All right. Mrs. Elias, having been, as Platt admitted in court, the recipient of large gifts at his hands. The grounds urged for restitution were those of alleged undue influence over Platt by Mrs. Elias. And that was his whole argument. His whole argument is that, yo, she made me fall in love with her. I was just under her spell. She made me do all of this other stuff. And imagine you the judge, son. Imagine you the judge hearing this old man being like, yo, son, like, she had me pussy whipped. Like, I ain't gonna lie, son. Like, the pussy was good. And I was in love with her, Your Honor. I was in love. Like, what I want my money back. The judge is like, bro, did she steal it? I mean, not really. She didn't technically steal it. She didn't technically steal the money. Okay, so you want me to make her give you your money back after you voluntarily gave it to her. But yeah, I understand how it sounds, but she had this big black man come in my house and try to, get more money out of me and all of that. The judge was like, did you give it? Did you voluntarily give him the money? Did you call the police? Did you do anything? Did you file a report? Well, it was like, well, no, because I wanted to keep it out of the public eye that I was buying sex. Oh, wait. You were buying sex. Son. Oh, my God, son. This is amazing. All right. So he loses the first case. Does not want to take the L. So he files an appeal. Loses that one. And now this is where we at.
Allowing Hannah to keep her fortune. As she took the stand, Hannah
now we in court. She's on the stand. She's on the stand, son. And now it's her turn to talk about what happened. Her, what she got going on. Listen to what Hannah says she got.
Described how her money was kept in 15 different savings banks.
15 different savings banks, son. 15. That's crazy. Oh my God.
As well as houses and land worth $150,000.
Houses and land worth $150,000 at this time.
Furniture and plates worth $100,000, and jewels valued at much more than both.
So if the first two figures adds up to, like, what was that? Was it $10,000 and $100,000? I told you my memory is crazy, y'all. Sorry, it was $10,000 and so $160,000. And the jewelry was worth more than both. So at the very least, her jewelry was worth $161,000. Oh, she made off so crazy. So crazy. Oh man.
Furniture and plates worth $100,000 and jewels valued at much more than both. After winning her case, Hannah started evicting white tenants out of her apartment buildings with a note reading, "In the future, none but respectable colored families were to occupy the flats."
Yo, do they tell you? See, they tell you about all of the oppression. They tell you about the Jim Crow. They tell you about all of that, but they don't tell you that there were light-skinned whores evicting white people out of their homes because she owned the building. They don't tell you that part of American history. They don't tell you that black people were evicting white people out of their apartments based upon the fact that they owned the building. They don't tell you that part. They conveniently leave these types of nuanced stories out of the zeitgeist. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that the babies need to learn about a sex worker fleecing an old white man. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, if a prostitute could do this, what's stopping anybody else from doing it? If a prostitute was able to do all of this, go to court, win, sat on the stand and said, yo, I got 15 different bank accounts. I got 100,000. I got at least 160 or $161,000 in jewelry. I got $10,000 worth of plates in China and shit. I got land and houses worth over 150,000. Like, she's sitting on the stand chilling. Oh my God. And she was like, you know what? All the white people out. All white people out of here. I don't want to see no white faces. No more white people. Every white person is evicted. And from this point forward, she wrote a note, like the note was like it was a placard. She wrote a note on the doors of all her properties and was like, yo, niggas only. Niggas only. Only niggas, only respectable niggas get to live in these apartments from now on. I don't want to see no white people in these buildings at all. Black, respectable New Yorkers. That's it. That's all I want. But the story's not done here. The story's not done.
After working with Harlem developer John Nail to turn Harlem into a safe zone for black New Yorkers, she left for Europe with her Japanese butler, Kato.
Dog. Yo. She left. She left the United States with her Japanese butler, son. Kato. What, son? Oh my God, son. I'm telling y'all, son. History is stranger than fiction, son. I'm trying to tell y'all the stuff that these people were doing 100 years ago. I'm telling you, son. This was son. Now, I'm gonna let y'all know something. There was a part of this story that I left out of the video. And it was only because, it could, first of all, I was pressed for time. These videos are only 2 minutes long. You want to be able to, keep them in a particular, time length or whatever. But, CH, right? Yep. CH. If y'all go, and if y'all pay attention, you get to see a little bit of how I be getting my information, if you pay attention. But if we type in her name, yeah, and we could say I put daughter. I think that's what it was. No. Okay, we'll do all newspapers, all states. Maybe that'll change the tune. There we go. Oh, man. Why is it taking so long to load up? Well, anyway, since I don't know what's happening. So basically what I left out of the video was she was like a deadbeat mom. Surprise, right? She's a prostitute. But apparently, she had a daughter, abandoned her. She abandoned her daughter, right? So the person that was raising her daughter found Hannah, right? It's not funny, but it's funny. So the lady is like, yo, make sure my nose not looking crazy. But anyway, the lady is like, yo. So Kato, the Japanese butler, Kato comes to the door. And Kato like, yo, what's going on? Who are you? And the lady was like, yo, I'm a friend of Hannah's, or I'm her cousin or family friend, whatever. And I have her daughter. I've been raising her daughter. And, I just want Hannah to, meet her daughter, be with her daughter, spend time with her daughter. And Hannah told Kato to close the door. Straight up. Like, I don't know who that little girl is. I don't know who that lady is. Get them out of here, son. I don't have a daughter. It's a dub. Yeah, it's not loaded up. It's fine. I hope my internet connection is not super choppy on y'all. But yo, so she was a deadbeat. So a part of her reason, for leaving the country is to dead all relationships that she had in America. She hit the ultimate lick. You got to remember, son. She hit the ultimate lick. She hit adjusted for inflation, a $25 million lick. A lot of it being in jewelry and things that she can actually move. Not to mention, my rent still coming in. I don't have to be in New York to collect this rent. I could sell them. I could do whatever I want. So she flees to Europe with her Japanese butler, son. Oh my goodness. We got time for a couple more. Let's see. We did Annie. Yo, chat, do y'all know about Sarah Rector? Let me know. Do y'all know about Sarah Rector? We could get into that. We can get into Philip A. Payton Jr., which is related to the Hannah story, because if you remember at the end of the story, John Nail, he was a real estate developer in Harlem. Philip A. Payton became like the king of Harlem when it comes to real estate. So we could get into that. We can get into Soul City. We can get into any one of these. They short videos. We can get into, any one of them. But just let me know, chat. Come on, talk to me, chat. Y'all ain't about to be sitting here like bumps on the log. Use your thumbs. Stop letting Smurf hog the chat. Smurf holding it down. Shout out to my man Smurf. Let me know. We could talk about Sarah Rector. We could talk about James Fortin. James Fortin was making money in the 18th century. You dig? He was making money and building wealth in the 1700s. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know about the 18th century wealth builders. You feel me? All right, y'all taking too long. We're gonna get into Sarah's story. It's a two-part. Anything real estate. Okay. Anything real estate. All right, let's do. We're gonna do Philip A. Payton, and we're gonna do Soul City. Let's do it.
What's shaking, everybody? President Hotep Dubes here, and today we're going to be talking about Philip A. Payton Jr. Now, Philip was born in Westfield, Massachusetts in 1876. His father was a barber, and his mother was a hairdresser, and as a kid, Philip would work in his family's barbershop, and he was a pro barber by the age of 15. In 1899, Philip set out for New York City, against the wishes of his parents. Philip got a job as a porter or janitor, making $8 or just under $300 a week. It was this job that would be the one that inspired Philip to get into the real estate business. After getting married, Philip opened up his first real estate company. However, due to its location, his partner giving up, and not making much money, it closed.
Now listen, check this out. This story it has a lot of layers to it, like all of these different histories that I'll be telling you about. So let's go to the beginning. His pops was a barber. Now, y'all got to understand, historically, all of the trades was black work. You remember when Trump got into all of that hot water amongst like dummies when he said black jobs during the presidential debates or whatever? And everybody was like, what's a black job? What's a black job? What's a black job? And all this other stupid shit. This is a black job. Being a barber was a black job. Being a carpenter was a black job. Being a blacksmith was a black job. These are black jobs. White men did not want to do this job. These jobs. They just did it. Like, if you own a slave, or if slavery is a thing, why would you cut your own hair? And why would you pay another white man full wages or at all to cut your hair? All of these service jobs were black jobs. Period. Now, after slavery was abolished, the white man had to deal with the white man. A lot of people don't talk about that, but there was like a whole tumultuous relationship between the white man and the white man after slavery was abolished. Everybody keep talking about like the KKK and, you know, how they used to terrorize black neighborhoods, but they used to terrorize white ones too. White people, white on white crime was a thing during Reconstruction. I know a lot of people have, like, that's the thing. That's the reason why I study history the way I do it. To dispel a lot of myths, to put the nuance back where it's supposed to be. So yes, there was a lot of white on white crime during Reconstruction. A lot. KKK members literally, the KKK was literally created to force white employers to hire white employees. Like, if you were a plantation owner and your crops and all of that stuff was being turned over by black people for the past 60, 50, 75, 100 years, why would you hire a white person? Like, that don't make no sense. We don't have, what's your resume? What's your work experience? And this is not to say that there were no white artisans and stuff like that. Obviously there were, but they're used to, first of all, not paying. Let's not forget that slavery is low pay, no pay, like I say. So they're used to not paying. And they already know the work that they already know. Like, somebody just asked me about George Washington Carver, right? And the books that he wrote. So let's go to my page. Cause I just tweeted it not too long ago. 100% of the people want a book club. All right, I don't want to hit though. Listen, these books, we gonna be booking for real. We gonna be really booking. I don't want to hear nothing. We gonna be tapping in. If y'all gonna join this book club, y'all gotta be on point with me. Now, look, George Washington Carver, the agricultural genius that he is, he wrote a book called How to Build Up Worn Out Soils in 1905. So after slavery is abolished and the black artisans, the black agriculturalists, the black farmers and all of that, they're not on the plantations like they were before, low pay, no pay, and you got to pay these people and all of that. The soil was rotten. The soil was getting dried out like a mug, son. Like, it was a lot of terrible soil out there. And it was really just the black artisans and the black agriculturalists who understood how to actually turn the soil back to healthy. Because what happened was, there was a lot of crude growing. Crude growing is when you plant the seeds, you water the seeds, the plant grows, right? The plant grows, you harvest the plants, and then immediately after that, you put more seed in, grow another one, harvest that one, put more seed in, harvest that, and you keep doing that until your soil is depleted of all nutrients. Because people don't understand that soil is a living organism. It's made up of millions and millions of different, organisms. It's a living, breathing thing. I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people. And I got you, Jason. But yes, you have to treat soil like a living, breathing thing. You have to put nutrients back into it, because the crops that you grew, if you were to keep them in, like, you gotta understand, like, The soil allows you to pull the crops out for your own consumption, whether you're going to wear it, eat it, or whatever. But you got to understand that if the plant never ever gets harvested, it's going to die and put the nutrients back into the soil, right? So when you're extracting the source of the nutrients that was going to help the soil have the, get all of the minerals and the vitamins and all that stuff it needs to stay brown and stay black and stay healthy, and you keep harvesting, you just keep pulling out, and you don't put nothing back in, your soil is going to die. And this is where you get droughts. This is where you get unhealthy soils. This is where you get smaller yields from your crops. This is where you get a whole bunch of negative, consequences because you are not putting nutrients back into the soil. So George Washington Carver had to write a book in 1905 to let people know, like, hey, this is how you build up worn out soils because y'all are raping the soil. Y'all are not respecting the soil because y'all don't come from having to care about the soil. All you cared was about the potatoes, the carrots, the cotton, whatever it is that came out of the soil. That's all you cared about. The apples. You cared about the fruits and vegetables and all of the other, crops that came out of the soil, but you didn't care about the soil itself. And that's the difference. So while, yes, there were white farmers, obviously, but the agricultural sciences, that was a black thing. Barbering, black thing. Being a carpenter, black thing. Blacksmiths, all of this other stuff. Not to say that white men didn't participate at all. Obviously, they did. But if you had to choose between training and not paying a black person to do it, or paying a white person the same amount of money you would want to be paid to do that same job, you're going to choose the black person 100% of the time. And while I tell people, and this is something that Thomas Sowell said in his book, is there's no such thing as solutions, there's only trade-offs. And that's a bar. There's no such thing as solutions, only trade-offs. That's a bar. So the solution into the white man's mind at the time is that, oh, I could get this free labor. But it wasn't really a solution because the trade-off is that now all of these black people have the knowledge because they are sitting in the soil all day. They're making the homes. They're building the homes. They're fortifying all of these skills. They're honing these skills. So the trade-off is, like low pay, no pay, for sure. That's a solution to you. Not really, though, because now you thinking slavery is going to last forever. Lack of foresight. You're not thinking that the country is going to abolish slavery, especially not in the next 10 years, 5 years, 20 years. So you like, learn all you need to learn to till my soil, learn how to cut hair, learn how to build houses, learn how all of that. Because it's not like you're going to build a Tuskegee Institute. It's not like you're going to build a Hampton Institute. It's not like you're going to build all of these different institutions that's going to, enrich your community at large for all of the skills you've learned for the past 150, 200 years. No, you're just going to be my slave for life. So the trade-off was that all these black people got all of this knowledge now, and we have the autonomy to never work for y'all again. So that was a trade-off. So I know we're talking about Philip A. Payton and we're talking about real estate, but again, this is what I'm talking about. And my man Jay Sean too, he just said, Jason, I don't, when it comes to these usernames, I don't want to mispronounce your names, but this is, along with that, it's a trade. Barbering is a trade. So back to the story. He tells his parents, Philip tells his parents, like, yo, I want to move to New York. He was a barber since he was 15. Pops taught him and all of that. He told him, yo, I want to go to New York. His parents is like, why the hell would you want to go to New York? You're fine in Massachusetts. You work for your dad. You're making good money. And he was like, nah, man, I want to go to Harlem. I want to go to New York. And they're like, yo, Phil, Junior, we don't want you to go to New York. We want you to stay in Massachusetts. And Junior was like, yo, I heard you. However, though, I'm going to go to New York. So against his parents' wishes, he went to New York. He starts as a janitor, but he also could fall back. No, excuse me. He does not start as a janitor. He starts working at somewhere else, making some bread, but he also was cutting hair. Then he gets a job as a janitor at a real estate office. And that's when the bug of real estate hits him. So he didn't even go to New York on some real estate shit. He just went to New York because he wanted to see what New York was like, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So he goes to New York, does these little odd jobs with his trade in his back pocket. And that has always been my point. Listen, for the past, I want to say 3 months, I've been in several different Twitter spaces arguing with people about the importance of trades. Booker T. Washington spoke about trades all of the time. And the conventional wisdom has always been, as long as you got a trade in your back pocket, you'll be able to feed yourself for the rest of your life. That's always been the sage, the conventional wisdom when it comes to this stuff. You dig what I'm saying? Have a trade, that way no matter what, you'll be able to feed yourself. So this is exactly, it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. He had the trade of barbering in his back pocket. He could cut hair wherever he's at. If you got a barbershop, I could cut hair, period. However, he got into business. So he gets married. Shout out to his wife. Again, that's going to be another through line, fellas. Another through line. I know when it comes down to, the 21st century and being young and being single, that you feel like, I can't get married when I'm 20. I can't get married when I'm 22. I can't get married when I'm 25. I'm still young. I'm still doing all of this stuff. And it's like, I get what you're saying. And I understand, I hear from the men and the women that the dating pool is what it is and all of that. But it's like, listen, son, you do not want to spend 30, 20, 40 years being single trying to find the one person that's going to love your ass for the rest of your life. You just don't. It's going that's not the optimal ideal life to be living. You do not want to be in your 40s and 50s and 60s single and shit. I just watched a video of Keith Sweat. Keith motherfucking Sweat complaining. Keith Sweat at 63 years old is complaining about the dating game, that women don't want to cook, women don't want to do laundry and all this other shit. It's like, son, you're Keith Sweat, son. You met your wife 10 times over the past 40 years and you still didn't marry her. Skill issue, bro. Skill issue. Get you one. Get you one. That's all you need. All you need is one. All you need is one that's going to love you and you're going to love her for the rest of your life. All you need is one, my nigga. There's 8 billion people in this world. Find one. Find one that will genuinely love you and care for you and vice versa, and you'll be fine. You do not need to be a bachelor for the next 20, 30, 40 years, bro. It's not going to look good. Look at these old niggas now. Keith Sweat was the sex symbol in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s and all that other stuff. Women were literally, they still throwing panties at him to this day, but at the height of his fandom and his sex appeal and all the other shit, everybody was throwing their panties at him, and he still was like, I'm gonna keep throwing my, throwing my balls out there on the roulette table. You feel me? He could have been had a wife, but it's like, nah, I'm too busy being Keith Sweat, the sex symbol. And now look, Keith Sweat is 63 years old, performing for Gen X and boomers and shit, looking and complaining about women. You don't want to be that guy. You do not want to be that guy. And this is Keith Sweat. It wasn't like he was a bum on the street. It wasn't like he didn't have the pick of the litter. He could have got him a good joint. He could have got him a good joint and lived the rest of his life happy. Look at Denzel Washington, complete opposite. Got his wife early. Got it out the way. He didn't have to go all over the world. He didn't have to fly to DR. He didn't have to go to Colombia. For all my passport bros out there, he didn't have to do all of that. Like he said, he from around the way. He found the woman that's gonna love him. LL Cool J found the woman that was gonna love him. Ice Cube found the woman that was gonna love him. These men have been married for decades. These men have been married for as long as I and you have been alive. Find one, son. Just one. All you need is one. Knock it the fuck off. All of that bachelor shit, it seems cool. But I promise you, son, it's going to bite you in your ass. And you don't want to be the old nigga being like, yo, son, in my 20s, I was crushing puss. I was having my way with these ladies and shit like that. And now you on stage complaining that women don't want to do laundry. You don't want to go out like that, son. I'm telling you. Listen to me. Listen to your big brother though, son. You do not want to go out like that. Being a bachelor in your 40s and 50s is not lit, bro. I don't care what nobody says. And also, ladies, being a bachelorette in your 40s and 50s is not lit. None of the people of prominence who are bachelors and bachelorettes in their 40s and 50s are living the lit life. Shannon Sharp literally caught a weird case because this young chick wanted to lie on him or whatever, put something on his body because he wanted to be an old bachelor nigga. It's not lit, son. It's not. I don't care who tells you different. Being a old bachelor and being an old bachelorette is not lit. Knock it the fuck off. Be intentional and find the one, son. But anyway, I digress. So now he finds, his lady and all of that other stuff. He dabbles into real estate. He starts it with his mans at first. But his man, because the money wasn't coming quick enough, okay? The money wasn't coming quick enough. So, he gave up on Phil. He's like, yo, I'm out of here. You feel me? And it got bad, son. It got bad. Let me show you how bad it got.
After having some very, very rough times, Philip was able to strike a real estate deal that netted him $1,000.
Oh, wait, hold on. I guess I didn't elaborate on how bad it was. Listen, son. They were living in squalor. They were living in squalor, son. The house that they lived in at the time had no heat. They had no food. Their dog died, son. Their dog died of starvation. Like they were in dire straits, my nigga. Like it was bad. It was super bad. You feel me? No McLovin. It was bad for them. And they stuck it through. He kept it going. He kept working. Excuse me. He kept it going until he landed a deal. This is the deal.
$1,150 or $42,500.
That's a fact, Scruggs. That's a fact. Keep her close. You feel me? You don't want to be out here, Scruggs. I'm telling you. So he gets a deal. He finally lands a real estate deal. Right? He finally lands the real estate deal. And boom. Adjusted for inflation, we have 42.5. Now watch. Watch how Phil goes crazy with the real estate. Watch this.
Adjusted for inflation. From here, Philip just kept flipping properties until he owned about $250,000 or over $9 million adjusted for inflation worth of property.
Where the camera at? Yo. $9 billion adjusted for inflation, son. Just by sticking to it. Just by sticking to it. Just by sticking to it. This is what I'm talking about right here, son. This is what I'm talking about. He just kept it. He stayed focused. He stayed focused. You dig? Let's keep it going. $9 million adjusted for inflation, son.
While attending the National Negro Business League, Philip got
National Negro Business League, Booker T. Washington. When I tell you that this man is at the center of so many people's stories, is insane, son. So many people's stories. And we rocking. Hey, yo, make sure y'all retweet my shit, son. Hold on, let me let them know that we in here still. We talking that good stuff. I'm giving y'all a good word in here. Who this? Come on now, I know who you are. People think they slick, son. Why people be thinking they slick, son? I know who you are. Come on. Yeah. Booker T. Washington, son. If you was doing business in America and your skin was black, and this is in the late 19th or mid to late 19th to early 20th century, you 100% knew who Booker T. Washington was, because he was more than likely doing business with you. He more than likely got you some money, got you some business, told you to join the NNBL. He was at the center of all of it, son. Every time that I read about an entrepreneur from the late 19th to the early 20th century, they credit Booker T. Washington for something. They shout Booker T. Washington out for something. They getting money from him for something. They doing business with him. I'm telling you, son. I don't understand how this man goes from being like this, like up here, being the Negro, like he is the black man, to being like, oh, he was like accommodationist, he was an assimilationist, he was placating white supremacy, and all this other nonsense that they talk about. So I don't understand how he put this many people on. What we got? I met my wife in high school. She has stuck with me for 17 plus years. She seems the worst, and God bless it. It pushed me to get better. Now I'm an HVAC R training and looking to do electrical tech training. Like, come on, man. This is what I'm talking about. You living the dream, bro. That's the black American dream. A lot of people don't want to admit that, but that's exactly the road, son. That's exactly the road. Now, imagine if you would have spent those 20 years looking for love in all of the wrong places. How much money you would have spent. How much time you would have wasted. I'm not sitting here saying that you got to marry the first thing that, bats an eye at you. But I do think you need to be more deliberate and intentional. I do. Throwing your dick around all around town is not going to help you, bro. It's not going to get you any richer unless you're about to be a man who makes money off of being a womanizer, being a pimp or whatever. Throwing your dick around town is not going to get you rich. It's not going to get you smarter. It's not going to get you healthier. I can tell you that. I'm trying to tell you. Son. That's the way to go. Early as possible. That's what you want. Matter of fact, now we got to listen, this is why y'all come here. This is why y'all come here. Let me show you something. Let me show you something else. Let me show you something else that Rebecca Crumpley told me. Now, when I say they told me, understand that I'm talking about through her publication. And let me tell you what she said to me about marriage. And let me see how y'all feel about it. Come on through, son. Niggas is scared of the history lessons, bro. What's good, Mike? Talk to me, baby. What's going on? My boy Mike, man. I've been watching Mike grow. Pause. I've been watching him ascend into the man that he is today. I couldn't be prouder to be one of his mentors. I'm so proud of you, Mike, man. Real shit, man. I've watched you go from all of the adversities that you went through, all of the things that you had to push through to watch you, man. I can't be prouder. Your OG is proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you, son. I'm proud of you. I'm so thankful to have been a part of, your development, son. I'm letting you know, and that every single time, bro, you never let me down. Anytime that I ever checked in on you, anytime that I ever asked you what's the latest and greatest in your life, you always had something to tell me. And anytime you hit me up, because that's another thing about mentorship, fellas. It's another thing about being a mentee and a mentor and all of that. When your mentee, when your youngin' hits you up, you better have something new for him. As a mentor, you can't just rest on your laurels. When Mike used to hit me up over the years, over these past, there's been 10 years now? Watching him and helping him. I can't give him some old ass information. I can give him some timeless information. I can give him some information that, look, it's coming from, this is over 100 years ago. You feel me? But I've been helping Mike and doing my OG thing with Mike for some years now. And every time he came to me, I didn't give him no old information. I didn't give him some recycled bullshit. You feel me? He challenged me to be a better mentor. He challenged me to be a better mentor. And that's what mentees are supposed to do. And I challenged him to be a better mentee. I don't remember too many times Mike asked me the same question twice. I don't remember any times that Mike made the same mistake twice. Because he listens. He wants to grow. He wants to develop. And that's why I'm proud of him. That's my boy right there. I'm super proud, man. I know it wasn't this far back, y'all. I was just talking. I had to show love to my boy. Hold on. But yeah. Yeah, you see that? You see it in the chat? I'm a fundamental part of the ethos. You heard? Play with me. Real OG shit. Real OG. I ain't one of them fake OGs. I ain't one of them niggas that's old and bitter. So, Rebecca Crumpley, and there's no picture of Rebecca Crumpley. If you Google, when you Google her, those pictures of her are not her. So, in her book, I just actually suggested it to another young lady. Hold on. I'm going to tell y'all the title of the book. Oh, yes. It's called A Book of Medical Discourses in 2 parts. Okay? And this is one. She says, I hope y'all can see this. If not, can we zoom in? Oh, it was already zoomed out a little bit. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, this book was published in... when was this book published? This book was published 1883. Yeah, this book was published in 1883. So keep that in mind. But Rebecca says the age of a young woman should be about 19 or 20 as far as getting married. They're talking about getting married. It should be remembered that the union of persons, of premature growth, that is before the body is well developed on either side, favors weakly children. And the same is true of the union of persons of far advanced in years. So not too young and not too old. Okay, she goes on to say, a man's age should be between 22 and 25 when taking the responsibility of a family upon him. Our ancestors wasn't about that bachelor shit. They were not about that bachelorette shit. They were about forming unions as soon as your mind and your body was developed enough, because it's about building families. It's about building communities. That's what it's about. I know a lot of people are going to try to say, oh, well, it's just 1883 and life expectancy was this and people were dying at younger ages and all this other shit. Like, yeah, no. There were old people in 1883. There were 80-year-olds and 90-year-olds and 100-year-old people in 1883. It's a fact. It's a fact. So it wasn't about just survival. Now, don't get me wrong. Having a lot of children and all that other stuff, yes, survivability was a part of that for sure. But the reason why your granny, your great granny, and all of them had 11 brothers and sisters and shit like that is because these people, their parents met when they were young. Now, I'm pretty sure there's stories of, my great grandma was 14 when she met her husband, or, my father was my great grandfather was 17 when he started his family. Sure. That's not saying that didn't happen. What Rebecca is saying is that the ideal age to get married at the time for a woman was 19 to 20. And the ideal age for a young man to get married was 22 and 25. That's how it worked. You wanted your husband to be a little bit older than you, and you wanted your wife to be a little bit younger than you. That's how that worked. And from that age on, you would then create your families. So just letting y'all know that what Jay was saying what Jay was saying is exactly how the Black American experience or the Black American life was supposed to be. You were not supposed to be slinging your dick and your vagina around for the next 20, 30 years trying to find love after your body all used up. Men and women. Men and women. All used up. You know, put your member in all of these different holes and all this other shit. And you got niggas like Tate and them telling you that conquest with women and all that other shit breeds all of this experience and all other shit, and niggas is miserable. You're miserable. You do not want to be old and a bachelor. But anyway, let's get back. This is a 2-minute. That's how you know I'm meant to be talking, because this is a 2-minute video and we literally halfway there. 1 minute into this video, we then turned it to a 20-minute lecture. I'm with it though.
Got the idea to create the Afro-American Realty Company. He officially opened the business in 1904, issuing 50,000
First of all, this logo is super fire.
shares for $10 each.
So, that was another way. Now, we see this business model with all of the difference. Like, I remember when I first started investing, I want to say that was 2013, 2014. When I started to get, financially literate and all of that stuff. And I would invest in mad shit. Like, you name it, I was invested in it. Real estate, alternative assets, stocks, obviously. And one of the things that I saw, they had a bunch of apps. And what they would do is they would offer shares of any particular thing, like a Rolex, shares in a Rolex. I have shares in a Basquiat. I have shares in a Monet. Sorry, y'all. I have shares in different, assets and stuff like that. And that's how they set it up. So let's just say that the Monet was worth $500,000. So they will offer however many thousands of shares for the money. And I will buy, 100 shares or 200 shares or whatever, and just, have ownership in that asset. Obviously, this has been going on for well over 100 years, well over 150 years. And this is what Philip A. Payton Jr. was doing with the Afro-American Realty Company. Now, there was a debate going on when it came down to, and I understand this is probably going to be another 10, 20 minute little rant, but there was this debate going on of like letting the world know that you're a black business and all of that. And the contemporary wisdom is it's like, yo, you don't necessarily have to do that, because you want to get as much business as you can from everybody. You don't want to alienate anybody, and you definitely don't want to use the fact that you are a race-based business, whatever the business is, whether it be a restaurant, a real estate company, or whatever, in between. You don't want it to be like, oh, only shop with me because I'm black. Now, when we go back 100 years, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different because it's like segregation's a thing, and pride is a lot more necessary now. I'm not saying that it's not necessary. Necessary then. I'm not saying that it's not necessary now, but back then you 100% needed it. That's why you have shit like the National Negro Business League. Now, of course, it's been renamed to the National Business League, but when it was, created and established by Booker T. Washington in 1900 in Boston, it was the National Negro Business League. And a lot of the businesses had Negro in the name, or Afro-American, or whatever it is. Not African-American, but Afro-American. And it was to bolster pride in the customer base. It was to let them know, like, hey, we own property too. Or we own real estate companies too. And we're able to do the same thing that these white companies are doing. And that pride, if you were willing to respect it, we'll do business with white people too. But speaking of, let's get into this, because this is a great part of the Philip story.
Needless to say, this company was controversial. Philip looked at racism as a luxury that many white real estate businessmen couldn't afford. He believed in turning...
Yo, I want y'all to understand Philip in this portion right here. Because a lot of people get to talking about Jim Crow. A lot of people get to talking about particular parts of our American history and painting with broad strokes. Philip A. Payton, okay, look how he's looking at it. Make color line costly privilege. Now, how many people in your histories or in your studies have told you that racism was a luxury when it comes to business? How many people told you that white only signs was a luxury? Nobody. I'm quite sure nobody probably even told you that it's a costly privilege. It's a costly luxury. Because what happens is what you won't do, another white company will. But when y'all are told that every last person that was white during this time was staunch racist, you have these broad strokes and you miss the gray areas. You miss the nuance. It's your bad. It's your teacher's bad. It's your OG's bad. I never told Mike that shit. Never. I never lied to my youngins about history. For what? But listen what Philip got to say about it. Don't take my word for it. He lived through it. This is the news article. It says, make color line costly privilege. Corporation formed to get homes for Negroes. Sees profit in prejudice.
And prejudice into profit. One such
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
example would be the real estate war he was in 1905.
Listen up.
The white-owned Hudson Realty Company had bought 3 buildings from Philip, evicted all of the black tenants, and then replaced them with white ones. In response, Philip bought 2 apartment buildings, evicted all of the white tenants, and then moved in all of the black tenants that the Hudson evicted.
Dog. What? Now, we took it up a notch. Now, remember, Hannah, the Joan from Philly who moved to New York, she evicted all of the white people out of her buildings too. And she did that on some Joanne the Scammer shit. Like, she was like, all the Caucasian people out the building. Immediately. Like, she just evicted white people because she just felt like it. This was, as far as Philip is concerned, a retaliatory business move or stratagem to combat at racism. Y'all not understanding, son. It's deeper than rap. It's not about your feelings. It's not about how it makes you feel. It's about what you can do. So, these white people were willing to do business. They were willing to do business with the Afro-American Realty Company. There's absolutely no way they don't know that this is a black-owned company. The name of the company is the Afro-American Realty Company. Yo, what's going on, Philip? We see that you got some prime real estate over there in Harlem. We'd like to buy a few buildings from you. Philip is like, yo, no problem. I'll let you know now, I got black tenants. And the Hudson, white company was like, oh, that's no problem at all, Phil. Don't worry about it. As soon as they buy the building, they evict the black tenants. Get those niggas out of there. Get those niggas out of the building. Get some out of the building. I mean, you own the building, right? You don't care about your rent. Get them out of there. Philip gets word that they evicted all of the black people that he just housed. He like, word? He didn't cry. Okay? He didn't go to the to the news and be like, oh, these white people, they hurt my feelings. They kicked out all of these black people. Philip is rich. Okay? Remember, he got $9 million in property. I can only imagine how much rent he's collecting every month. So he like, yo, what's some businesses, like what's some buildings around that area that I can grab? Well, this is available and that is available. I bet. We're going to buy those 2 buildings and we're going to evict all of the white people out of those buildings. And every last one of my tenants who got evicted, we're going to move into those units. Son, why didn't they tell us that? Why didn't they tell us that there was a remedy to racism when it comes to business? Why didn't they tell you that? Why didn't they tell you that you can fight fire with fire when it comes to that? It's not done. Not done. Check this out.
Hudson Realty Company had to eventually sell the original 3 buildings back to Philip at a large loss.
Son, you shitting me? So check this out. So your racist ass evicts the black tenants. You evicted black tenants thinking you gonna be on some like, no niggers, all that other stuff, right? You thought. I then buy buildings around wherever y'all at, evict the white people out of there, and because nobody wants to live in your buildings, and I have a whole tenant base that I had, you have to now sell me back my buildings for less than what I sold them to you for. So if you bought them from me, let's just say you bought all 3 buildings for $100,000 each. You bought them for $300,000, right? Now I get to buy them back 50 cents on the dollar. So now I only got to buy what? I got to buy them back at $50,000 each. So for half of the whole joint that I sold them to you for, I get to buy them back. Oh man, son. Super expensive. Super expensive to be racist, man. Super expensive. You dumb idiot. All you had to do was collect the black rent. Why didn't you just collect the black rent? But no, you wanted to be racist. You dumb idiot. Now look at you. Idiot. Bozo. Loser.
Phillips' real estate portfolio served as one of the main catalysts to have black Americans move to Harlem. This migration to Harlem, mixed with the wealth, talent, and ingenuity, is what ushered in the Harlem Renaissance.
Come on, son. Without Philip A. Payton Jr., there's no Harlem Renaissance. Did you know that? This is what I'm saying, y'all. This is what I'm saying. So you got Hannah Elias and Philip A. Payton Jr. They didn't tell you about these people. Well, Hannah, again, I'm not mad if they never told y'all about Hannah Elias. We seen her story. Her story is crazy. But Philip A. Payton Jr. is the reason why so many people felt comfortable coming to Harlem. Now, of course, the Great Migration was happening and all that other stuff, but the atmosphere that he created because there were black real estate owners in in Harlem made it comfortable for all of these Southerners and all these people coming from other places to come to New York. It's because of Philip A. Payton Jr. They literally call him the King of Harlem. Look it up. All right, what we got next? Somebody said, I think Jay has said something about trades, right? We wanted to get into some trades. We got, I know who we can go. We could do James Fortin. We're gonna do James Fortin, and then we're gonna bounce over to it was 10:18. I said I wanted to rock till about 11. So yeah, let's do this. We're gonna do James Fortin. We're going way back. This is the 18th century. Look, before we even watch this, hold on.
What's shaking?
Hold on. Look at the time he lived. He was born in 1766. He died in 1842. Slavery was still going on when he died. So let's learn about James.
President Hotep Dubes here, and today we're going to be talking about James Fortin. Now, James was born free in 1766. And
Already. He was born free in Philadelphia in 1766. Why they didn't tell you about him? Why didn't they tell you about the free Negroes living in Philadelphia during American 18th century? Why they didn't tell you about that? How come they told y'all that y'all history started with slavery? How come they didn't tell you that the first black people on this continent were free black people? Shout out to my man HJ. I need a soundboard so I can have my little bomb drops and shit like that. But how come they didn't tell you that as late or early as 1766 there was free Negroes walking around the United States, not in bondage whatsoever, free in Philly? Why didn't they tell you? How come your narrative starts at slavery? And you going to sit here and tell me that this wasn't deliberate? You going to sit here and tell me that the Black American historical narrative has been like this objective, storytelling? No. They tell you this shit so you can automatically associate yourself, your kind, your people, and all of that shit with slavery, with being less than, being second-class citizens. But James was born free in 1766. If I would have just tell this story, right? and there wasn't any historical like documentation of his life, people would call me a liar. People would tell me, nigga, there wasn't no free Negroes in the United States in the 18th century. You shitting me? Now, I don't know if you peep, but 1766 is before 1776, isn't it? So you had black Americans free in the colonial era of the United States. Before, I can't even call it the United States. The colonies. Yeah, free black people during the 13 colonies, son. They don't tell you that, though. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His parents, also born free, were...
So if we use Rebecca's math in her book, right, to where 19 to 20 for the mother, 22 to 25 for the father, that means that they were born, if he was born in 1766, and let's just give them the lowest number. His mom's is 20 years older than him, and his pops is 22 years older than him, right? Or his pops is 25 years older than him. Let's do the math real quick. I know my mental math is not the greatest. It's a little embarrassing, but it's cool. 1766 minus 25. His father was born in 1741. His father was born in 1741. Free. But they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that there were free black people walking around, living their life, owning businesses, and doing the things that they do as early as 1740. And listen, now I got to do it. Now I got to put y'all on. Y'all get me started. Now we got to do this. Excuse me, y'all. We got to do this. Boom. If y'all knew where I was going, shout out to you. But now we got to go here. Now we got to go here. Now we got to go here. Fort Mose. Look at that. Fort Mose. The first legally sanctioned black community in what is now the United States. What is now the United States. It wasn't even the United States. Established in 1738 by the Spanish governor. It was a fortified town north of St. Augustine, Florida, offering sanctuary to enslaved Africans who sought freedom. Fort Mose played a crucial role in Spain's defense of Florida and was a testament to the resilience and pursuit of freedom by black people in the face of adversity. This is in Florida, 1738. Son, they don't tell you this shit for a reason. They hide your hit. I'm not going to say they hide it, but they just deliberately don't tell it to you so you don't get motivated, that you're not actually inspired by your ancestors. They do this on purpose. They start your story off with slavery because that's a great starting point for somebody who wants to keep you downtrodden and all of that shit. That's what it's psychological. We got to break out of that shit. And this is the reason why you'll have niggas argue with me about this stuff. When I talk about how black people were shooting at the KKK and lynching white people, when I tell you about the Negro lynch mobs, y'all be like, get the fuck out of here. They didn't have Negro lynch mobs. Why you don't think so? If a mob of white people right now came into your house and tried to kill you, what would you do? And why don't you think your ancestors would have did the same thing? Why do you think that your ancestors were these like defenseless, powerless people? Why? Why do you have that inclination to think about your people that way? Think about that. Why do you think less of your ancestors, even despite the fact that they were human beings just like you? Why do you automatically assume they had less ingenuity, less power, less wherewithal, less bravery, less courage? Why do you automatically assume that? It's because of how you were taught this history. If you were taught this history the way I'm teaching it, from the time you was a little boy or a little girl, you wouldn't have those racial hangups that you have. You wouldn't have that inferiority complex. You wouldn't have this low racial self-esteem. You wouldn't. You just wouldn't. Because you understood that, there were black people, there were my ancestors that were giving it up crazy. They were giving it up crazy. And we gonna see. Let's go. So they were sail makers. Let's go.
Sail makers. So naturally, James had a knack for boats and sailing in general. By the age of 9, James's father died tragically in a boating accident, leaving him to be the primary caregiver for his family. He left the Quaker school that he attended and got right to work. James apprenticed for a man by the name of Robert Bridges, who owned a sail loft, which is essentially a large warehouse kitted to be able to build sails. By the age of 11, he saw the British take over the city of Philadelphia. And by the age of 14, he volunteered in the Revolutionary War.
Yo, imagine. Can you imagine that? Imagine that an invading force storms into your city while you a little boy. You feel me? And tell you that this shit, yeah, it's going down. You are a product of British or Britain or Great Britain. You gotta do what we say, either get down or lay down. You're 11 years old. And at 3 years later, at 14 years old, you are literally in a war. 14 years old. 14 years old.
As a powder boy, which is someone who carries the gunpowder to load in the ship's cannons. He was captured as a British POW, risking being sold into slavery, and was eventually released in a prisoner exchange in 1782.
Yo, listen. Yo, could you imagine being born free? Your parents being born free. You go to war at 14 being a powder boy, and then the British capture you, and you know slavery exists. It's not like you don't know slavery exists. And you've never seen slavery before, like up close or lived it. And these motherfuckers is thinking about selling you into slavery, son. But luckily, what was who was, damn it, who was that basketball player? The NBA, WNBA player that got exchanged for the Russian weapon dude. Brittany something. That's pretty much what it was. It was a prisoner exchange, son. It was a prisoner exchange. So he was able to get off on that. I forgot it. Brittany something. Help me, chat. What's Shorty's name? Brittany Griner? It was Brittany something. Hold on. Let me look it up. Cause I think the chat is a little bit like y'all lagged up a little bit. Yeah. It's fine. Prisoner. Nah. What's Shorty name? Brittany. Russia. Arrested. Griner. Yeah, Brittany Griner. Got it. Good look, AJ. So yeah, that's what it was. Son was 14 years old and was exchanged for British POWs that we captured in 1782. Remember, we haven't even gotten into the 19th century, son. So let's go.
Upon his arrival back to Philadelphia, it didn't take long for James to move up the ranks. He became foreman, supervising at least 36 employees, half of which were white and black. And when Bridges...
Yo, this man was a boss. He was a boss. He had white employees after the Revolutionary War. Why didn't they tell you that we had black bosses? Why they didn't tell you that? Why didn't they tell you that we had black bosses before the 1800s, let alone the 20th century? We had black bosses in America who had white employees. Come on, son. Why didn't they tell you this? Let's get into it.
Bridges retired in 1798, James bought the business for himself. James developed new types of sails and sail tools that allow ships to maneuver better and maintain higher speed.
Come on, son. When they get to telling you about the contributions of black Americans and they try to tell you that, black people really didn't contribute to anything and all that other shit, like, yo, listen, son, we revolutionized sailing, American sailing. We had employees, white employees. We would literally like, yo, listen, son, we had the livelihoods of white men in our hands since the 18th century. And these motherfuckers get to tell you that racism, black people can't be racist because black people don't have no power. Look at the type of shit that they try to psyop you into believing about yourself. They taking your power to hate a motherfucker away from you because you don't got no power. You don't have no, systemic power. That black man could have fired every last one of them white employees, and them niggas would have went hungry. Because this is 18th century Philadelphia. But they tell you that you don't got the power, you don't got the wherewithal, you don't have the resources to fire a nigga or have any power. So they psyop you into thinking less than think about it like this. They tell you that you're not able to be racist because you don't have power or resources. And you think that's a good thing. You think that's a good thing that I can't be racist because I don't have any power or resources. Think about just hearing that shit out loud. You sound like an idiot, but we got James Fortin who's making, let's not forget, his parents were born free. His parents were. So it's not like, oh, they bought their freedom and then he was born free. No, his parents were born free and they were both black. Just in case you were wondering, they were both black. It wasn't like he had a white daddy and nothing like that. No, both of his parents were black, son. But they try to tell you that you don't got enough power to even to hate a motherfucker. And then even if we use their criteria, a black man was in charge of the livelihoods of at least 30 white men before the 19th century even came around. But you ain't got no power. Revolutionized sailing in America, but you don't have no power. Stop believing that bullshit.
By 1810, James became one of the most successful businessmen in the country and was quite literally the richest black man in Philadelphia.
Quite literally the richest black man in Philadelphia by 1810. We haven't even reached the height of slavery yet. The height of slavery is 1860. That's the height of slavery. Now, granted, most of the slavery was happening in the South, but it was slavery in Philadelphia. There was slavery in Pennsylvania. And this man, by 1810, was the wealthiest man, wealthiest black man in the city. And you never heard of him. You never heard of him. They may. Let me see. It says, I couldn't be a history teacher. I'll be showing your video nonstop throughout the years. American history with me would have been calling me a black supremacist. That's a fact, Jay. I'm trying to tell you, I can't have this racial insecurity that they have, this inferiority complex. I can't. It's impossible because I know James Fortin exists. Feel me? I know Philip A. Payton Jr. exists. Even our whores, even our sex workers was getting millions. They don't tell you this though. That's why Hotep and Bill, son. That's why we here. I love this. That's what I be trying to tell y'all. Y'all get a glimpse. Y'all, right now, we've been streaming for what, 2.5 hours? This 2.5 hours is just a glimpse. It's a small window into the research that I do, into the scholarship that I have. You feel me? I don't deny that all of the fuck shit was happening. I don't deny slavery and whippings and beatings and rapes and all that. I don't deny any of that. But we definitely not about to focus all day on that. When we got James Fortin building sales and buying businesses. When we got Philip A. Payton Jr. evicting white people. When we got Hannah Elias evicting white people. When we got Annie Turnbull Malone buying $1 million building adjusted for inflation, $25 million. 75,000 graduates out of her school, black women. I ain't got time. Sorry. If my class is only an hour and a half long, I'm probably going to spend like 10, 15 minutes on the oppression. Keeping it 100. Because we got to get to all of the fly dope shit that our ancestors did. I can't be focusing on whips and chains and shit like that. We're going to mention that, during slavery, this. But then we're going to get into all of the shit like this. This video is 2 minutes and 20 seconds long. And we've been talking about James Fortin for at least 10 minutes now. This is what I can do with 2 minutes worth of information. Imagine a book. Imagine a lecture. Imagine a chapter. We wouldn't be even getting to the oppression and all of that. We got too much greatness to be going over. I do not have what y'all have, not y'all, but I do not have the hangups that a lot of people have. My contemporaries, my peers. You get to talking like this, they tell you they having this much pride in yourself and your history. They call you Uncle Tom, ironically. And don't even get me started on the history of that bullshit term. Uncle Tom in the fucking book is actually the hero of the book. But black communists, well, white communists, turned that into a slur. And black communists picked it up because they're dumb. You see what I'm saying? Y'all don't understand, son. Like, the type of history that we get taught in public schools is designed to demoralize you. It's designed to have you come away, walk out of that classroom feeling inferior to your white classmates. They do it on purpose. And just so you know, this is not coming from a place of insecurity. White students walk out of that classroom. They don't feel superior to that white person, because what they do is they browbeat the white students into believing that they're inherently racist. You was born racist. What's that white lady name? What's that white lady name that says all white people are racist? What's her name? Jane something, right? Jane Elliott, right? Ain't that's her name, Jane Elliott? Those white students don't feel better about her classes. And you got stupid, dumb black people thinking that that's fire. I remember there was a video of her talking to this white girl, white student, who probably didn't have a racist bone in her body, but Jane Elliott let her know, no, you're inherently racist. You was born racist. And she made the white girl feel uncomfortable or something shit like that, and was like, yeah, this is how black people feel, and made the white girl cry and leave the classroom. So it's not like that white girl left the classroom feeling superior to black people. No, both the black and the white student feeling like shit, just for two different reasons. Well, for the same reasons, but two different outcomes. You feel like shit as a black person because your ancestors was nothing but second-class dirtball citizens that didn't have no power, didn't have no wherewithal, didn't have no autonomy, didn't have no agency. And the little white student is walking out of the classroom feeling like they're inherently evil, inherently racist. Yo, the white people that I talk to, son, if you knew. Yep, Tim Wise too. Yep, Tim Wise does the same thing. Now, we're not going to get into it, but y'all know. You picking up what I'm putting down when it comes to that. We ain't even got to get into that, but y'all know. Y'all know. But when it comes to that, what was I saying? The white student not coming, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The white people that I interface with, right? When it comes down to talking about race, you should see how they walk on eggshells to not be called racist. I know that y'all think that, I know not y'all, but I know a lot of people think that white people don't give a fuck about being called racist, but that's like one of the worst things that a white person can call another white person. Just like in our, community, calling you a snitch or a bitch ass nigga or something like that, that's federal. A white person being like, you're a racist. Now it's dying off now because everything is fucking racist, and when everything is racist, nothing is racist. But over the past 25, 30 years, if you were to be called a racist as a white person, that could end your career. And it was other white people calling people white. It was other white people calling white people racist. They hate that. The amount of times that I've talked to white people and they gotta, I'm not saying this, or they gotta couch what they're saying. That's the black privilege that I have. That I can just say whatever. You know what I'm saying? Without having that feeling like, oh, I'm not saying that white people are all this, and I don't have to do that. But that's what white people, they're uncomfortable. And y'all know y'all don't care because white privilege and all other shit. But yo, these are human beings, dog. The same way that you walk around with that inferiority complex, they walk around making sure that they're not offending anybody. And they walking on eggshells because at any point that they could be canceled. Nobody wants to live like that. And it's based upon the same lesson. Y'all get this same oppression narrative only. I'm not saying oppression didn't exist, but y'all get these oppression narratives and then having to deal with that psychologically as you grow up. It's just manifests differently in black and white people. They're using your history against you and y'all don't even know it. You should be proud of being black. You should also be proud of being white. It's just that people relegate all of your history, as far as black people, as being second-class oppressed citizens, and they relegate all of your white history into being nothing but colonizing, racist, supremacists. That's it. That's how they treat both races. And y'all think this shit is actually helping. It's not. But let's get back to it. I know it's gonna be another rant. Listen, this video, we only did 20 more seconds. 20 more seconds in the video started on another 10-minute rant. This is your history. This is your Hotep history professor. You heard? Let's go.
Now, James didn't squander his wealth or use it selfishly. He actually petitioned Congress to emancipate all slaves in 1800. In 1817, he denounced the American Colonization Society's plan to send free black Americans back to Africa.
That's a dub. That's a dub. We're not going. Not going. Not going. Now, listen. We're not going to Africa, bro. We're not doing that. Now, I understand that, some years ago or whatever, y'all got, some people out of, the Gold Coast, West Africa and all of that, Ghana, now, modern day Ghana. I get all of that. But no. We're not doing that. We're not going back. I don't even think we're going at all, actually, because if you really look at it, we were here. We were here. Black people been here. If you go on my page, here we go. You know it was coming. You know it was about to happen. Hold on. We got out of this one. Let's go. Shout out to my boy Naheem. He got 300 people in the joint. Medicine, my favorite show on the internet right now, for like bar none. See, y'all don't even know this. Y'all don't even know this, HJ. I've been rocking with my boy HJ for over a decade now, man. I love that man, son. That's my boy, son. We've been in the trenches together. That's my guy, man. That's my man, Pots and Pans. You heard? Like, Hotep Nation is really my family. I want y'all to understand that I couldn't be prouder of being the president of Hotep Nation. 10 years running. I'll never forget my first election. I did so well that I actually did what Trump said. We don't need another election. We got it. We good. They voted for me. Shout out to my boy T-Cat. Shout out to my brother T-Cat. He ran a good campaign. I was not the first president of Hotep Nation. T-Cat was. And then we had an election. What was that? 2013, 2014, HJ? I won the election, and I've been president ever since. Nobody wanted to oppose me. Nobody wanted to run against me. Everybody loved the way my leadership has been rocking. And look, your president is in the White House. You feel me? You feel me? We don't need no more elections. But yeah, this is me in the White House with my brother Carl, man. Y'all don't even know. My man Carl. Yeah, I wish Carl was still on the timeline, son. But he was like me. He was like me for a long time. He was like, yo, son, we both got banned around the same time from Twitter. This is back when it was Twitter for real. Like, it was still owned by Jack and them. And we both got kicked off because I got kicked off for... I can't even repeat what I said that got me kicked off, but just letting you know, I told a white man about himself and his people. Carl got kicked off for something similar, but we both got kicked off. And this is 2018. We got invited to the White House personally. You feel me? And we had a great time. HJ was there. We had a great time. The feds was following us all weekend, filling their dossiers up. The feds had sent the honeypot, but we didn't fall for it because, we're Hotep. I was going to fall for this woman, obviously a plant from the feds. Like, are you shitting me? Nobody's biting, shorty. I'll never forget that, son. Like, I got to get Maj up here to tell y'all that story, but because she was mostly targeting him. But I remember she tried to say that she was from East Philly. Now, if you from Philly, you know that's some bullshit. There's no East Philly, son. But anyway, where's it at? Did I skip it? I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't even remember what I was supposed to be showing. Oh man, oh yeah, here we go. Right here, son. Now, like I said, people, the prevailing evidence talks about the Bering Strait hypothesis, which is East Asians 20,000 years ago walked over here. You feel me? Because it was literal land, a land bridge or whatever that you can walk. However, a man by the name of Leo Weiner, Pauls, wrote these books, Africa and the Discovery of America, Volume 1, 2, and 3. He wrote a lot about it. You feel me? And he's talking about just the cultural and the cultural, racial influence and the discovery of the Americas, mainly North America. So going back to, this right here, like our history runs deep, son. It runs deep. We're not going back to Africa, Jack. Now, don't get me wrong. There were some people who left, of course, the founding of Liberia and all that other stuff. But for the most part, we're not going. Booker T. Washington has an entire article about this. We're not going back to Africa, bro. That's not like, we're not doing that. We're American. We gonna die here. We lived here. We born here. We gonna die here. Period. So anyway, let's finish up the video.
And reaffirm their right to live free in America. James was also an outspoken critic of Pennsylvania's Gradual Emancipation Act of 1780, citing that it was just taking too long.
Yeah. I'm not liking this. It's taking too long. I was born free. My parents was born free. I lived almost an entire lifetime, and all of the slaves are not free yet. Why? I don't understand. In the time that I've lived, we should have all been free by now. We should have been free. It's 1780. It's 1790. It's 1800. What's the holdup? What is the fucking holdup? Free them. Free the guys. Free the guys. Free the members. Free the homies. Like, what are we doing? I've been free my whole life. Why is there still slavery? It's 1780. What the hell? Get with the times. Get with the times. You guys are so 15th century. You guys are so 16th century. Like, what are we doing? Y'all are 17th century. Like, we're free now. I've been making money for the past 40 years. Like, what's going on? Free the guys.
He also
Hold on. It's just simply taking too long. Y'all taking mad long. Free the homies.
leveraged his name and his wealth to help fund the abolitionist movement by funding one of their newspapers called The Liberator.
Always. You'll see this. I want y'all to know this, yo. When it comes down to our industrious, our entrepreneurial, our professionals, all the way up until I want to say the mid 20th century, like 1950, they wasn't these selfish ass people. It didn't make any sense to build wealth if I wasn't going to use that wealth to better my people. I'm going to make sure my family good first. So usually, even if they were enslaved, like, all right, I'm going to buy my family out of slavery. That's first and foremost. After that, I'm about to put my money behind something that's going to help my people. I'm going to use my skills to help my people. That only makes sense. Why am I getting rich? Why did I make all of this money if I wasn't going to help my people? It doesn't make any sense. And you'll see that's a through line. Booker T. Washington had Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, and two presidents, Henry Rogers, Julius Rosenwald, in his back pocket. He could have selfishly used that shit and just been like, yo, I'm rich, fuck y'all. How certain wealthy black Americans you see today. But no, for what? Yo, Andrew, I got a town in Oklahoma that needs $20,000, which is peanuts to you, but it's going to mean a great deal to them. You're Andrew fucking Carnegie. Give me the money. Yo, Rockefeller, I need $15,000 for this school. I need the hookup. Yo, President Taft, think about black people. I need you to be on it for black people. And Booker T. Washington wasn't the only one. I tell y'all this all of the time. Like, there was entrepreneurs and industrious people like Giles B. Jackson, Davis Webster. Like, they writing books and creating whole exhibits and stuff like that to teach black American history. They're getting that money from the public. So y'all get to talking about white supremacy and all that other shit, and you have a bunch of white people willing to give their money to a bunch of black people while slavery was still going on to stop slavery, to bolster black American communities. Y'all talk a lot, but y'all don't read, and that's y'all problem. I remember I asked somebody, like, yo, what percentage of white people in the South do you think own slaves? This nigga told me 95% roughly. Roughly, he said this shit like it was like it was a real educated guess. I was like, yo, fam, not like, yo, at the height of slavery in 1860, about 23 to 25% of white people in the South owned slaves. What do you think the other white people in America were doing? Y'all don't talk about, y'all give John Brown some praise or whatever because of his raids and all of that, but it's mad white people, son. I don't understand why y'all don't accept that narrative. That they were just white people who wasn't jacking slavery. I tell y'all all of the time in my streams, adjusted for inflation, the average slave costs $20,000 to $40,000. This is not just an everyday purchase you can make. The average slave owner only had, and I hate to say only like that, but y'all are thinking about plantations with dozens, if not hundreds of slaves on it. That nigga was a mega millionaire adjusted for inflation. The average slave owner had 1 to 3 slaves, if that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm just trying to give y'all the real deal for it. The real deal about it. That's the truth. It's simply the truth. So, back to my point, you're not about to be a black person in this country during these centuries, build all of this wealth, and not immediately think to give it back to your people. That's what group economics, where the bedrock of group economics comes from. And we're going to get into wealth building. we up north right now during this time. But when we go down south during this time, it get a little bit trickier, but we ain't going to do that right now. Let's go.
He also funded the temperance movement and women's suffrage. Not only that, he helped fund the Mother Bethel AME Church and was vice president of the American Anti-Slavery Society.
Yeah, man. It was all about, I'm telling you, he could have just stayed rich. He could have just died rich, and that was that. So we got time for one more video, chat. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I know it's a little late. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find a good one. I would, you know what? We're going to end it on Soul City because these two videos right here, I mean, it's on Hotep history, so y'all could, watch it on your own time. But you'll see why I don't want to end with these videos. I want to be able to take my time with these two videos. But we're going to go over them. We're going to go over them, chat. So we got, I'll let y'all, it'll be chat's choice. So we can do Soul City, North Carolina, or we can do the Prince of Darkness. What was my man's name? I forgot his name, but he was the first black stock trader in New York City. Y'all let me know in the chat real quick. Either Soul City or New York City. Let me know. Soul City or the black stock trader. Y'all let me know in the chat. First answer wins, and we're going to get up out of here after that because I know y'all want to go to bed. Speaking of, I was watching Comedicine last night, bro. Y'all niggas was closing out Comedicine for an hour straight, son. That was, I ain't gonna lie, the end of Comedicine was the best, bro. Because every time Inky, like you or Inky, wanted to end it, one of y'all will ask a question or say something, and they just keep going. And I'm like, yeah. I was in the chat going crazy, son. Then Tana was in there. Stock trader, Prince of Darkness. All right, we're going to do Prince of Darkness. But yeah, son. Nah, Prince of Darkness won. We'll do Soul City. Fuck it, yo. We're going to stream tomorrow, yo. Like I said, I got to make sure I do this stuff more often. Shout out to y'all for coming through. Shout out to y'all. Yo, son. That was so hilarious, HJ. Because I'm over here thinking like, it's about to be done. I'm about to put on something else. And then now this nigga like, yo, pull up the, what was it? The King of Israel seal. Whatever. And I was like, oh my God. That was the best one yet, man. Medicine is the best show on the internet. And I'm saying that while I have my show on the internet. That was fire, son. Shout out to Inky. I need me, yo, son, I ain't gonna hold you. I need me a Inky version of a, of a historian, bro. So I can chop it up with him. But we gonna do the stock trader. We gonna do the Prince of Darkness. Let's go. Jeremiah, yeah.
What's shaking, everybody? President Hotep Dube said, and today we're going to be talking about Jeremiah G. Hamilton. Now, Jeremiah's origins are somewhat of a mystery. Some sources claim that Jeremiah was born in Haiti or Cuba or Puerto Rico in 1806, but Jeremiah himself claims that he was born in Virginia. You may be asking why the historical record wouldn't take Jeremiah at his word, and that's because Jeremiah was a known scammer.
Yo, listen. Yo, this is why, first of all, he has a book about his life. You need to definitely read it. It's actually, funny enough, a black person didn't even write the book. It's an Australian historian who just so happened to like start digging in the archives of New York City to find out about Jeremiah G. Hamilton. But like that book is amazing. They got an audiobook version, but Inky got me swearing off of audiobooks now. So it is what it is. But the Prince of Darkness, definitely watch it. But yeah, son was a scammer. Let's get into it.
The historical record was that of counterfeiting Haitian coins in 1828. Jeremiah learned that it only took 2 cents to counterfeit the 10-cent piece. He was found trying to dump the coins into the ocean from a ship.
Think about that flip. It only cost you 2 cents to make a 10-cent coin. Dog. What? You 5x in your bread every time. As somebody who trades options, that's crazy. Because the way I conceptualize me trading options is I buy money for cheap. So I buy $100 for $20. I buy $1,000 for $200. That's how I look at it. He's buying 10 cents for 2 cents. And that's what he was doing. Now, of course, I'm not scamming or counterfeiting. You feel me? But that's how he looked at it. But let's go.
Haiti had a death sentence out for him, so he fled to the United States. Jeremiah would then make millions scamming insurance companies in the 1830s.
Oh man, I gotta read this book again. He was cooking.
Jeremiah would receive insurance payouts on merchant ships that would be wrecked under mysterious or controversial circumstances.
So, listen, I tried to tell y'all this shit, son. Like, we are human. So I understand that a lot of people, they get weary about attaching too much of the contemporary, things that's going on in the 21st century to people back then because times were different. But you got to understand the human hasn't changed. The human has never changed. The human, since the human was a human, has been the same. Greed, envy, jealousy, lust, being conniving, being selfish, being selfless, being loving, being caring, being nurturing. All of these things are the nature of man. It transcends time. It does not matter where you put a human in as far as the human history, they're going to behave similar. If you dangle fruit or if you dangle food in front of a hungry man, he's going to lick his lips and go to eat it. If you dangle something that he lusts after in front of him, he's going to pursue it out of lust. If you acquire or accumulate things in front of a man that's poor, he is going to be jealous and envious of you. It does not matter if it's a pile of rocks or if it's money. The human has always been the human. So I understand. This is the reason why when it's time for me to tell these stories the way I tell it to y'all, that's why I could tell you about Hannah Elias. And I tell the stories in the same way that it sound like these people did this shit just last week. Because we're all human, son. We all have these same flaws. We all have these same ambitions. People been wanting to build wealth, get out of their situations and all of that other shit for hundreds of years, son. Hundreds of years. Jeremiah G. Hamilton ain't no different than anybody walking and breathing this earth right now in the 21st century. It is what it is. But let's go.
By 1835, insurance companies banded together and chose never to insure any ship in Jeremiah's name.
It was like, yo, fuck this nigga, son. We're not insuring no more ships. We're done. He's done. He's cut off. And I want to apologize. My earlier videos, This is when AI art first was hitting the timeline and all that other stuff. And I was like, yo, this is going to be a great way to streamline my videos. But as y'all can see, my more current videos don't have this. AI art is having another resurgence because it's becoming more crisp and clean and all that other stuff. I still don't know how I feel about it, just because I like to have some type of documented stuff. But when I was telling y'all about Rebecca Crumpley, when you Google Rebecca Crumpley, 3 different women come up, and none of them are Rebecca. You dig what I'm saying? Even Jeremiah Hamilton. The reason why I had to use AI for this shit, there are no pictures of Jeremiah Hamilton anywhere. So it's either a blank screen or a random person that actually existed that's not really Jeremiah, or AI. And I chose AI at the time because I thought it'd be easier and all of that. But now that I'm watching it, it's not cringy, but you can clearly see how ugly these pictures are. But anyway, I digress. Let's finish up.
He was given the nickname the Prince of Darkness. Jeremiah, as a stockbroker.
Also, I don't know if I say it in this video, but they also called him Nigger Hamilton. Like that was that was also his nickname. But go ahead.
Was essentially the first hedge fund manager. People would give him money to invest on their behalf, and Jeremiah would take a small percentage as a managing fee.
Like, come on, son. The first black hedge fund manager. Why didn't they tell you about him?
During the Great Fire of 1835, Jeremiah had received $5 million from investors. When it came to get the money back, Jeremiah denied remembering he received the money and pocketed it for himself.
Yo, son. Now, I know I keep pausing, son, but when I first read this story, son, I was like, this is the coldest nigga I ever heard of, son. Son, the Great Fire, first of all, America been having great fires for hundreds of years, right? Son, these investors go to, like, he's already a black man in New York City during this time where N-word this, N-word that, all of that shit, right? And these white men trust this black man with millions of their dollars, son. Millions of dollars. They give it to him. He like, yo, no problem, fellas. I got you. You don't even got to write nothing down. We don't need no receipts. We don't need no paper trail whatsoever. And they was like, nah, we need paper trail. We need paper trail. It's like, all right, cool, whatever. And it just so happens that a great fire happens. So all records, all receipts are burnt up. So they go to Jeremiah, hat in hand, like, yo, Jeremiah, you remember, a month ago, last week or 2 weeks ago, we gave you $5 million of our hard-earned money. And Jeremiah's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh my God, son. And there's no way to prove it, son. There's no way to prove it. I'm not going to hold you. I'm calling him N-word Hamilton too. I'm calling him N-word Hamilton. There's no way, bro. You just, what? What do you mean? What do you mean you don't know what we're talking about? We gave you $5 million, son. We gave you $5 million. Where is our money, son? I don't even know who y'all are. I never met y'all a day in my life. Who are y'all? Get out of my office. Like, oh shit, what? What? Nah, son. Yeah, word, Sam. What 5 million? What are you talking about? I never heard it. Oh my God, son.
Since the only proof of the transactions were destroyed in the fire, the white investors had no way to get their money back.
Oh my God, son. Why don't they tell us this? Why didn't they tell us this in school, son? I remember HJ was talking about being on one of his streams with somebody. And he was like, yo, son, if I learned, like, he was like, yo, because he was like me in school. I was a terrible student, by the way. I know y'all probably can't tell because I'm fucking like so handsome and intellectual and shit like that. But I hated school. I got a GED. I didn't even graduate. Now, that's partly because we moved around a lot and shit like that. But I hated school. I famously tell people that I only went out of the 180 days of freshman year of high school, which is the year of the year of school that everybody's supposed to be going to. I only went to school in my freshman year of high school for 30 days out of the 180. I was outside. And if you know anything about my background, you know what I was doing outside. I hated school. But if they was telling me Jeremiah G. Hamilton stories in school and Hannah Elias and Booker T. Washington, like the real nitty gritty stories, oh, I would have been locked in. And that's what HJ was saying about me. He's like, yo, if I had Doe as my history teacher, oh, I would have been locked in. He was like, I hated him. I hated Black history. That shit was sanitized and corny. I never, like, all this we shall overcome kumbaya bullshit they tried to sell me. I ain't with that. But anyway, let's finish up.
Hamilton chose to only socialize and do business with white people. It seems Jeremiah went on his way to avoid other black people.
Yeah, I forgot this part. Son. He didn't even like niggas. Like, I forgot. Jeremiah didn't even like niggas. Oh my God, son. The FBAs would have called him a tether for sure. If there was an FBA, well, I don't know. Wouldn't he be considered FBA? Like he came to this country in the early 19th century. He came in this country in the early 1800s during slavery, but he's not a slave. So I don't know. I guess he'd be considered a tether. But yeah, he did not want anything to do with black people, son. This is crazy.
At the same time, racist whites still hated Jeremiah and even gave him the nickname Nigger Hamilton.
So he was out for self, son. It was like, yo, I don't rock with blacks. Whites don't rock with me. So it's like, yo, I'm out for self. Fuck it. Fuck this shit. Oh man.
Jeremiah looked at everyone like competition, and he stopped at nothing to beat his competitors. He would even sue for it. He would sue companies that he held shares in and have the courts redistribute the company's assets to the shareholders. Hamilton even went head-to-head with Cornelius Vanderbilt over the control of the Nicaragua Transit Company. Hamilton amassed over $250 million during his lifetime, easily the richest black man in the United States.
Son, he's going to court. He's suing white people during the early 19th century. The audacity of this nigga, son. You took Cornelius Vanderbilt to court, son? Son. Oh my God, y'all. Oh, this was great. I know I'm tooting my own horn with these videos, but I'm telling you, it's not even just the fact that I made them. It's the fact that these things actually happen. I'm not making any of this shit up, son. I'm not making any of this up. It's all happened. So I appreciate y'all. I am going to be here tomorrow, same time. Same time, same rhyme. This has been Hotep History Live, man. Yes, Sam, he went toe-to-toe with Vanderbilt, son. And lived to tell the story. This nigga amassed $250 million before the 20th century, son. And nobody's ever heard of him. Oh, my God. Yo, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. HJ, everybody. Oh, man. Smurf, Clifton. Who else we got in here? Sam for coming in. Smurf, me and Smurf was in here crying. Scruggs, of course. Thank you, Scruggs. Jay. Did I say Clifton already? Von Gogh. L.A. Reese. Bert, of course. I appreciate y'all coming through, man. Oh, man. Like, this was fun. I appreciate that. HJ, I see why you like doing this shit so much, bro. The chat make this shit so live, son. I'm getting bit by the bug every time that I do these joints, son. And I appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, we're gonna be here tomorrow, son. I'm having too much fun. I can't let this go. Having too much fun. But yeah, man, make sure that y'all so the closing out, patreon.com/Hotep History. YouTube, of course, y'all here on YouTube. Patreon.com/Hotep History. You know what I'm saying? If you really like the content and you want to keep rocking with making sure that Hotep History grows and all of that, you know, I gotta learn how HJ be having the chat on screen and transitioning, and I gotta learn that. You know what I'm saying? I made sure that my background was at least aesthetically pleasing and all of that. You feel me? But I gotta get better. I want to make sure I'm giving y'all what y'all come for. And if y'all prefer Kick, I am streaming on Kick. I just gotta I just gotta fix something. I'll be streaming from like 3 different places at once. I'll be streaming from YouTube, Kick, and Twitch, just for whatever floats your boat. So yeah, man, make sure that y'all rock with me, man. Yeah, I got y'all, Smurf. I got y'all. Trust me, I'll be on the Griff Report every day in there, son. It's super live with all of the different, emotes and all of that. Trust, like, we streaming this shit. Hotep History is streaming. I said earlier this year that Hotep History Live was coming. You feel me? But yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. I was coming here too sporadically, and that's not y'all fault for not coming in here. You know what I'm saying? It's my fault for not giving y'all consistent content. So we back here tomorrow at 8. You feel me? So I'm saying, and we gonna lock in. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I appreciate y'all laughing with me, man. This was fun. This was the funnest one I've had yet, for sure. And the most informed too. So, man, I appreciate y'all. Like I said, patreon.com/Hotep History. And we gonna rock out tomorrow, man. 100 Hotep and Build. Is it still?